Chapter 1608, The Ninth Young Mistress, 2. After entering the cell, the guards immediately brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to the cell where Grape was kept. Leng Ruoxue focused her eyes and saw Grape sitting leisurely on the stone bed in the cell. There was not a single trace of fear on his beautiful face. Seeing this, she couldn't help but burst out laughing and said helplessly, "Wretched girl, you're so relaxed." "Miss." Grape's face was full of surprise. He didn't think that Miss would come to save her so quickly, hee. "Open the cell." Leng Ruoxue gave Grape a consoling look and said to the guards in the prison. This, the guards stammered, standing still and not daring to move. "What's wrong? Do you need me to invite your family head here before you can take her away?" Leng Ruoxue replied indifferently. She then looked at Ning Haolan, her eyes clearly saying, "You're not strong enough as a young master. The guards didn't even give you face." Ning Haolan smiled wryly, then ordered the guard, "Didn't you hear what Miss Ling said? Hurry up and open the cell door." "Young master." It was the ninth miss who ordered her to be locked in here. The guard was in a difficult position. He couldn't afford to offend the young master, but he couldn't afford to offend the ninth miss even more. This didn't mean that the ninth miss status in the Ning family was higher than the young master's, but that the ninth miss was too vicious. If she knew that he had let go of the criminal who had offended the ninth miss would not let him go. "You're afraid of the ninth young mistress, but aren't you afraid of the young master?" Qing Xian narrowed his eyes and smiled. "Afraid? Even I'm afraid." "Wu," the guard said with an aggrieved expression. "Hurry up and open the cell. Otherwise, if Miss Lin comes to find your family's old ancestor, you won't even know how you died." Qing Xian threatened. Yes, the guard wanted to cry but had no tears. Why was it that the people he had met today were all more difficult to deal with than the other, and each had a stronger background than the other? The guard's hands trembled and his face was ashen. He took out the key and opened the cell door with trembling hands. Seeing this, Grape swaggered out from inside. "Miss!" Grape called out softly. Leng Ruoxue looked Grape up and down. After confirming that she wasn't injured, she finally felt at ease. "What's going on?" Leng Ruoxue asked indifferently. "Miss! Don't even mention it, I'm really unlucky to have met a crazy woman while walking." Grape's face was gloomy as he explained, "I was walking fine, but I met a woman on the way. That woman said that I was disrespectful to her and bumped into her. Her maidservant wanted to attack me, but I beat her down. After that, I was captured by the guards she called and put in prison. That woman is the ninth young lady of the Ning family." Leng Ruoxue raised her brows and asked with a smile that was not a smile. That woman was even more annoying than Ning Shi. At least in front of outsiders, Ning Shi would still pretend to be obedient. However, that woman was cruel and cold-blooded. Her maidservant couldn't beat me, so she abandoned her. She even said that she wouldn't let me go. This is really an unexpected disaster." Grape said gloomily. "It seems that she hasn't had the time to attack you yet." Qing Xian teased with a smirk. That woman seemed to have something urgent to attend to, so I'm safe for now." Grape nodded. Hearing Grape's words, Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes turned to Ning Haolan. She asked with a faint smile, "Who is the ninth young lady of the Ning family? How come I've never heard of it?" "Thanks, the ninth young mistress name is Ning Shan. In recent years, she's been out training and rarely comes back to the Ning family. However, she's very talented, so she's very doted on by the Ning family. She almost became Qing Xian's fiancée." Ning Haolan explained, then pulled out another gossip. "Damn it. Just say what you want to say to her, why drag me into this?" Qing Xian gritted his teeth, his face full of displeasure. "I'm just telling the truth." Ning Haolan replied innocently. Then, as if he suddenly recalled something, he said, "Arg. She didn't come back because she knew you were in the Ning family, right?" "Impossible." Don't spout nonsense. Qing Xian's face drained of all color as cold sweat began to drip down his forehead. Woo, I don't want to see that lunatic. Besides, if Haolan didn't mention it, I'd have almost forgotten that woman had once pursued me like a madman. He glared at Ning Haolan with hatred at the thought. Ha ha ha. Don't be afraid, she's not as strong as you, so she can't use force on you. Ning Haolan said with a smirk. Damn it. You're still talking. Qing Xian was burning with anger. All right. I'm not going to joke with you anymore. It's good that Ning Haolan is happy. Great aunt. That woman is very scary and possessive, so if you see her, it's best to stay as far away as possible. It's even better if you don't see her face, otherwise, you may not be able to keep your beautiful little face. Qing Xian said with a worried expression. What's the meaning of this? Len Ruoxua squinted her eyes and asked in confusion. That woman is overbearing, selfish, vicious, and cruel. She can't stand anyone being stronger than her. She also claims to be the most beautiful woman in the world. Tell me, if such an unreasonable woman sees you, will she let you go? Qing Xian asked. Xian's right. Ning Shan is indeed a flamboyant, overbearing, and vicious woman. Even Ning Shi is submissive in front of her. Other than Aunt Yan, she should be the highest-ranking young lady in the Ning family. It's only when she's not in the Ning family that Ning Shi can flaunt her power. Also, she's a legitimate child. Ning Haolan added. So that's how it is. However, it's a little too late for you to ask me to stay away from her now, because even if I don't provoke her, she will still come to find trouble with me. Len Ruoxu understood. She could already foresee how furious this pampered first wife would be when she found out about someone like her. If that woman was really like what Qing Xian and Ning Haolan had said, she would definitely go crazy. Miss. I will protect you. Grape patted his chest and promised. Silly girl, you'll be at ease if you can protect yourself. Len Ruoxua chuckled. Great aunt. I'll protect you too, but now's not the time to talk about this. Let's get out of this cell quickly. Otherwise, if that poison scorpion comes, no one will be able to leave easily. Qing Xian said with a face full of fear. Len Ruoxua nodded. Everyone left the cell and returned to their respective residences. Qing Xian returned to Land Garden with Ning Haolan in fear. Just as he was about to pack his things and leave, Ning Haolan pulled him back. What's wrong? Are you trying to sneak away? Ning Haolan said with a smirk. If I don't cower now, when will I? I can't afford to offend that woman, so I'll just hide, alright? Qing Xian said unhappily. You're not going to protect Len Ruoxua anymore. Ning Haolan raised an eyebrow. Protect? Why don't I escape with her? That crazy woman definitely won't let the three of them go. If there's really a conflict, then your Ning family will also be in trouble. It's better for me to leave. The more Qing Xian spoke, the more he felt that his words made sense. Chapter 1609, The Ninth Young Mistress, 3. Can't you be a little more promising? He's the young master of the Qing family, yet he's afraid of a woman to this extent. Ning Haolan's face was full of disdain. You think I'm afraid of her? If she wasn't a member of the Ning family, would I have to do this? I can't hit him, I can't scold him, what can I do? If it was someone else, they would have just snapped, but could she? Even if you don't come to me for revenge, will her ancestors let me off? Unless I can also advance to Reverend God level. Otherwise, I can only hide. Qing Xian said helplessly. Ning Haolan knew that Qing Xian was right. There were 8 supreme gods in the Ning family. Excluding the ancestors, only the first and second elders were involved in the family's affairs. As for the other supreme gods, they were all in seclusion in the depths of the Forbidden Land. They would not come out unless there was an important matter or the family's survival was at stake. Among these supreme gods, one of them happened to be a direct elder of Ning Shan heir's line. The Nings were protective of their own. It was even more vividly reflected in that person. Therefore, if something really happened to Ning Shan, that person would definitely not stand by and watch. But, you're always hiding like this. It won't solve anything. Ning Haolan reminded him, feeling a headache coming on. A man who had always enjoyed playing the game was actually scared off by a woman to the point of hiding everywhere. If word of this got out, he would be a laughing stock. It's better than being pestered by her. Unless she has taken a fancy to another man, I can only avoid her every time I see her. Qing Xian said in a very useless manner. At this moment, Ning Wu, who had been sent to find out news about Ning Shan, returned. He bowed to Ning Haolan and Qing Xian, then slowly said, "Young master. The 9th young mistress is not in the main residence right now." Where did he go? Ning Haolan was a little surprised. His 9th sister should have just returned, right? I don't know the exact location, but I heard from the people in the 9th young lattice courtyard that 9th young lady came back to wash up and then dressed up to go out. It seems that she went to meet her sweetheart. Ning Wu reported. Arg. Beloved? Are you sure? Qing Xian's eyes widened in disbelief. I'm not very sure, but there is an 80 to 90% chance that the maidservants and guards in the 9th young lattice courtyard all said that her heart is budding with love. Ning Wu said, a little embarrassed. He had wanted to ask about the 9th young lattice situation, but who knew that the maidservants and guards in the 9th young lattice courtyard would gossip about this to him when they saw him. After he heard it, he felt embarrassed. Arg. Ha. I'm safe. Ha 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 ha. Qing Xian exclaimed, and then burst out laughing without caring about his image. Ning Haolan's face was filled with helplessness. Then, are you still afraid? Ning Haolan could not help but ask. TSK. She already has someone she likes who won't pester me anymore, so why should I be afraid? Qing Xian rolled his eyes at Ning Haolan. But, this is just a rumor. You can't believe it. Ning Haolan reminded him on purpose. There's no smoke without fire. Qing Xian didn't mind. Good luck then. Ning Haolan had nothing more to say. Haolan, why don't you come with me to visit Ning Shan when she returns and confirm her suspicions? Qing Xian suggested after some thought. Good. Then I'll risk my life to accompany you. Ning Haolan nodded. Ning Wu, send someone to keep an eye on her. If the 9th young mistress comes back, immediately send someone to inform me. Ning Haolan turned around and instructed Ning Wu. Yes. Ning Wu nodded and turned to leave. Qing Xian was in a great mood, and he pulled Ning Haolan to the garden to have tea and chat. Thanks. It was late at night. When the two of them were about to go back to their rooms to rest, Ning Wu hurriedly came to report. Young master. Oh no, the 9th young mistress has gone to the forbidden area in the back mountain. Ning Wu said loudly. When did she come back? Ning Haolan quickly asked. She came back less than half an hour ago. However, I heard from the guards that she went to the prison cell first before going to the forbidden area in the back mountain. Ning Wu said. Could she have gone to find trouble with me? Qing Xian said worriedly, sigh. He knew that woman was not easy to deal with. She had been out for the whole night and had just returned, and she was already restless. Let's go take a look. Ning Haolan was worried as well. Ning Shan and Ning Xie were different. If possible, he did not wish for Ning Shan and Leng Ruoxue to have any conflict. After that, the two of them looked at each other and went straight to the forbidden area in the back mountain. As they approached, Qing Xian and Ning Haolan heard a loud slap in the middle of the quiet night. The two of them quickly walked over. Shan Ning Haolan said. At the same time, he turned to look at the guard's face, only to see that it was red and swollen, with a few black and blue scratch marks on it. These were clearly signs of poisoning. So it's young master big brother. It's so late, why aren't you resting? Ning Shan asked with a proud expression. Shan Where's the antidote? Give it to me. Ning Haolan did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. However, he was extremely annoyed with this clan sister of his. If he could, he really did not want to have any dealings with Ning Shan, especially when she had to wear a fake smile on her face. Young Lord Big Brother, it's just a small poison, there's no need to use an antidote. Ning Shan smiled sweetly and said nonchalantly. Cut the crap and give me the antidote. Ning Haolan suppressed his anger. A little poison. Half of the guard's face darkened. Was this still a little poison? There's no antidote. Ning Shan said coldly. No antidote. Then how dare you poison your clansmen? Ning Haolan was a little angry now, and the gentle smile on his face was replaced by a hint of anger. He was the one who offended me first. I only gave him a small lesson. Ning Shan did not feel that she was in the wrong. She was a young lady of the Ning family's direct line, and a legitimate child at that. On the other hand, the other party was only a guard. No matter if it was identity or status, they could not compare to her. Did you offend the 9th young mistress? Hearing Ning Shan-er's words, Ning Haolan turned to look at the guard. 9th young mistress wants to enter the forbidden area. I don't dare to let her in. The guard said bluntly. His words were also very clear. He had been beaten and poisoned by the 9th young mistress because he had done his duty. The poison might not have killed him, but half of his face had lost feeling. Shan-er. Don't you know what kind of place the forbidden area is? How can we force our way in? Ning Haolan asked unhappily with a straight face. The Ning family's forbidden area was off limits to anyone, not even the acting master, unless they had the permission of the old ancestor, let alone Ning Shan-er. I know. However, since even an outsider can live in the forbidden area, why can't I, as a direct descendant of the Ning family, go in? Ning Shan-er roared in jealousy. Her beautiful face was red from anger, and her beautiful eyes were even more dazzling in the night. Is the outsider that 9th young mistress is referring to the first elder of the Craftsmen's Guild? Suddenly, Qing Xian said with a faint smile. Chapter 1610, So it's her. 1. What are you doing here? When she saw Qing Xian, Ning Shan-er's anger flared up. I've always been here. It's just that 9th young mistress' eyesight isn't good and didn't see me. Qing Xian teased, but in his heart, he was thinking, it looks like Ning Shan really isn't interested in me anymore. If this was in the past, she would have already pounced on me, hee. That's great, he thought to himself. Your eyes are the one with bad eyesight. You're clearly too small. Ning Shan retorted sarcastically, unwilling to be outdone. In any case, she would definitely not be at a disadvantage. All right. I'm too insignificant to enter your eyes, 9th young lady. Qing Xian admitted. It's good that you know. I was really blind in the past, how could I have taken a fancy to you? Now I know that there's always someone better than you. Ning Shan said with a look of disdain and regret. After hearing her words, Qing Xian was even more certain that Ning Shan had a new target. Otherwise, she would not belittle herself like that. However, this was really good news for him. However, he did not know which unlucky man had caught Ning Shan-er's eye. He felt a little sympathetic for that unknown man. Congratulations, 9th young mistress, for coming back from the wrong path. However, you haven't answered my question yet. Qing Xian said with a smile. He was in a good mood. What's the problem? Ning Shan was confused. The outsiders you said live in the forbidden area, are you referring to the Armament Guild's Grand Elder? Qing Xian repeated, his heart filled with regret. What a pity. The 9th daughter of the Ning family had amnesia at such a young age. Of course not. I'm talking about the ancestor's goddaughter. What right does she have to live in the forbidden area? Ning Shan said with a face full of jealousy. As the saying goes, the same sex repels the other, while the opposite sex attracts the other. Therefore, after knowing that there was such a woman, she instinctively hated Leng Ruoxue. Just because she's the goddaughter of your ancestor. Your family's old ancestor let her stay, who would dare to object? Qing Xian laughed as he cursed in his heart, idiot. If you want to find trouble with Len Ruoxue, you should first see if you are qualified. This is against the rules. Ning Shaner said angrily, her heart filled with jealousy. In their generation, other than the young master who had been given special permission by the old ancestor to enter and leave the forbidden area as he pleased, no one else had the right. They couldn't even enter, let alone live in the entrance area. What a great honor that was. Yet, she yearned for it, but it was not within her reach, and a woman who had no relationship with the Ning family could live there. How could she, who had always been proud, accept this? Ninth young mistress, the words of your old ancestor are the rules of the Ning family. Qing Xian sighed and helplessly reminded him. Even so, we can't let an outsider live here. Ning Shaner quibbled. It seems like you're doubting your ancestor's decision. Qing Xian asked with an evil smile. How could I doubt the decision of our ancestor? Don't wrong me. I just feel that I can't explain it to the Ning family if I let an outsider live in the forbidden area. Ning Shaner found herself a grand reason. Your ancestor doesn't need to explain to anyone, understand? Qing Xian was speechless. Ning Haolan also looked at Ning Shaner helplessly. The ninth young mistress of the Ning family had long been spoiled to the point where she even dared to criticize the old ancestor. Who was the old ancestor? He was the inheritor with the highest status in the Ning family. The decision of the old ancestor was the decision of the Ning family. Who dared to question it? Then the old ancestor can't ignore the feelings of our Ning family. Ning Shaner quibbled. Thanks, ha ha ha. Miss Zhou's words were really interesting. Does the old ancestor have to consider the feelings of all your clansmen? All my life, I've only known that our clansmen have to listen to our ancestors and do whatever they're told to do. This is the first time I've heard you say something like this. Qing Xian sneered. The ninth young mistress was so arrogant that she was beyond saving. Shan mind your words. Ning Haolan's face was full of disapproval. Big brother young master, please take me with you. Ning Shaner's beautiful eyes turned as she suddenly begged. Ning Haolan narrowed his bright black eyes and stared unblinkingly at Ning Shaner, causing her hair to stand on end. After a long while, he finally spoke indifferently, Shaner, you know the importance of this forbidden area. Without the permission of the ancestor, I can't bring you in. Actually, even though Ning Haolan's words were obviously trying to avoid the matter, it was the truth. He knew very well what Ning Shaner wanted to do in the forbidden area, so he naturally could not bring her in. Otherwise, if Len Ruoxue were to lose even a hair on her head, the old grand madam would not let him off. Then, young master big brother should go and beg the ancestor. Ning Shaner said coyly. It's so late, and you want me to go and beg the ancestor? Ning Haolan squinted his eyes as he sized up Ning Shaner. He wanted to see what this beautiful little head of hers was thinking. Big brother young master. It's not too late yet, the old ancestor must not have rested yet. If you're willing to help me beg the old forefather, he'll remember the good in big brother young master. Ning Shaner's eyes flickered as she pleaded. Shaner, you're already so big, you should be more sensible. Ning Haolan's handsome face was filled with disappointment. Young Lord Big Brother, I beg you. I'll remember your good deeds. Ning Shaner continued to plead. However, Ning Haolan remained unmoved. Gradually, the anger in Ning Shaner's heart began to surge towards her head, and she began to mutter disdainfully in her heart, humph. He was just an orphan whose parents had died early. If he had not entered the eyes of the old ancestor, how could he have been the young master? Because she had failed to get what she wanted, Ning Haolan was an eyesore to her. She even thought that if her own brother became the young master, he definitely wouldn't be like this. Shaner, it's getting late. Go back and rest. Ning Haolan reminded him with a faint smile. Then, he gave Qing Xian a look and warned him before he left, you should know the consequences of barging into the forbidden area, so don't do anything stupid. As she watched Ning Haolan and Qing Xian leave, Ning Shan-er's heart was filled with hatred. She then looked at the guards who refused to make an exception, and in a fit of anger, Ning Shan-er left. After Ning Shan-er left, she did not return to her own residence immediately. Instead, she went to look for her own brother. Her brother was called Ning Haojie and he was one of the best among the younger generation of the Ning family. In her heart, her brother's potential was not any worse than Ning Haolan's. It was a pity that he was not as well liked by the old ancestor as Ning Haolan. However, from her perspective, whether Ning Haolan could become the master of the Ning family and whether he could sit firmly on the position was still an unknown. After all, there were too many people in the Ning family who wanted to replace him and many people were waiting for Ning Haolan to make a mistake. Furthermore, her brother's advantage over Ning Haolan was that his parents were still alive. Her mother's clan might not be as powerful as a top-tier clan like the Ning clan, but it was still one of the top clans outside of the 8 great divine domains. His father held a high position in the Ning family as well. He was the lord of a city in the Ning family's divine realm. He managed Sea City, the second largest city after the main city. Ning Haolan only had a big uncle who was of similar blood to him as the substitute lord of the Ning family. However, an uncle was not his father. No matter how close they were, it could not be compared to the relationship between a father and a son. Thus, these were all the advantages of his brother. Chapter 1611, So it's her, too. When they arrived at the courtyard where Ning Haojie was, Ning Shan-er could hear groans coming from inside before she even got close. Instantly, her face was filled with anger as she kicked open her brother's room and strode in. In the room, a man and a woman were having sex on the bed. After hearing the movement, the two immediately sobered up and looked up at the person who made the movement. Shan-er. You're getting more and more unruly. You don't even know how to knock before entering your brother's room. On the bed, Ning Haojie covered himself with the thin blanket, looking a little embarrassed. Can you hear me knocking on the door? Ning Shan-er raised her brows and spoke with a look of disdain. In her opinion, her brother was not bad in every way except for his lecherous nature. If her brother was willing to devote all his time and effort to cultivation, he would not have been stuck at the Divine Lord realm for so many years. One must know that Ning Haolan had been a god king for a long time. Thinking of this, she had a feeling of disappointment towards her brother. If her brother was the young master, then her position in the Ning family would be even more respected. What a pity. This could only be a hypothesis now. What's the matter? Ning Haojie changed the topic as he gently stroked the woman who was trembling in fear. Big brother. Can't you put more effort into your cultivation? Could it be that you're willing to be beneath Ning Haolan forever? You must know that your aptitude is not inferior to his. When Ning Shan-er saw her brother's nonchalant attitude, she felt a surge of anger in her heart. So what? He's already a young master. Ning Haojie said helplessly. Everyone was equal in terms of young masters, but it was a pity that there could only be one young master. In front of Ning Haolan, he was a loser. Moreover, he was well aware of his own strength. Even if he and Ning Haolan were both divine lords, he would not be a match for Ning Haolan. What's wrong with the young master? The young master isn't the head of the family. As long as he doesn't become the head of the family, others will still have a chance. Ning Shan-er said nonchalantly. In her opinion, even if Ning Haolan became the head of the family, it was not impossible for someone to replace him. How dare you think like this? You don't want to live anymore? If word of this gets out, do we still have a way out? You want to get us killed, don't you? Ning Haojie said a little angrily. He was about to die from anger at his sister's nonsense. What a big-chested brainless idiot. Did they think that he didn't want to be the young master or the family head? Unfortunately, as long as Ning Haolan was around, he would never dream of taking that position. He was well aware of this, but it was a pity that this restless sister of his seemed to be a little muddled in the head. Big brother. I'm telling the truth. As long as you can win the old forefathers' favor, well, find a way to find out Ning Haolan's faults. By then, Ning Haolan will naturally lose the hearts of his clansmen, and you'll be the young master soon, won't you? Ning Shaner said matter-of-factly, and the smile on her face grew. As long as she thought about her brother having the chance to become the young master, her heart was filled with joy. Do you think it's so easy to win the favor of the ancestor? Ning Haojie laughed coldly. He was speechless about his sister's daydream. How do you know it won't work if you don't try? I've decided, tomorrow you'll go curry favor with the ancestor, you must make him like you. Ning Shaner ordered. All right then. I'll try my best. Ning Haojie said perfunctorily, because he knew very well that if he didn't say that, his sister would not leave his room. This is more like it. After Ning Shaner finished speaking, she held her sleeves and left. 3 days passed in a flash, and the final round of the family competition was held as scheduled. This final match also adopted a round-robin system. In other words, everyone had to go through 4 rounds of competition before the final victor could be decided. Although there were only 5 people participating in the competition, 2 of them were monarch gods while the other 3 were god-level masters. Ning Hai and the other divine lord were the favorites to win the championship and were watched. Moreover, the number of people who came to watch the competition today was the highest in the previous few rounds. Thanks, it wasn't even time for the match to start yet, but the audience was already packed. The atmosphere in the stadium today was particularly high. Red silk was hung everywhere, fluttering in the wind. The gongs and drums were loud in the stadium. Everyone was using their own unique way to express the excitement in their hearts. When Leng Ruoxue and the rest entered the competition grounds, they were greeted with such a lively scene. Miss! So many people. Grape said happily. Today is the last match of the competition. Oh right, you should give this bottle of healing pills to Brother Ning. Make sure he's in his best condition for the competition. Leng Ruoxue took out a jade bottle and passed it to Grape. Yes. Miss. Grape took the jade bottle and turned to leave. Miss. Are we going to meet that 9th young mistress today? Lotus Seed couldn't help but ask. I will. What, are you scared? Leng Ruoxue laughed lightly as she teased. I'm not afraid. It's just that we're about to leave the Ning family, and we've provoked such a person before we leave, so I'm quite depressed. Lotus Seed said helplessly. Lotus Seed. We can avoid trouble, but we can't stop trouble from coming to us. So, the only thing we can do is to adapt to the situation and respond to the changes with the same approach. Leng Ruoxue said disapprovingly. But she's a member of the Ning family after all. It's not good to be too stiff with her. Lotus Seed was a little worried. If the 9th young mistress didn't have such a relationship with the Ning family, she wouldn't care about how the 9th young mistress acted. Lotus Seed, you're going to become a little old lady if you let your imagination run wild. Remember, there are some things that we can't control. However, if someone really dares to provoke us, no matter who he is, we don't have to be polite. Leng Ruoxue said very seriously. In her opinion, as long as the Ning family did not go too far, she would turn a blind eye for the sake of her godfather. However, she had a bottom line. If someone really crossed her bottom line, then don't blame her for not recognizing her own family. Lotus Seed nodded. The 2 of them chatted as they walked and soon arrived at the VIP seats. The moment Leng Ruoxue took her seat, First Elder immediately went over. Girl, where are your bodyguards? The Great Elder asked with a smile. He stayed at home to wash the dishes. He'll be back before the game. Leng Ruoxue said softly. Hee. Little girl, you're so bad. You're the 2nd elder of the Ning family, and you're asking him to wash the dishes for you? When the Great Elder said this, his face was full of gloating. It could be seen that he was in a very good mood. I'm also teaching him the basic knowledge of life. Other than cultivation, that person doesn't care about the 5 grains. If it wasn't for the Ning family's support, I'm afraid he would have starved to death long ago. Leng Ruoxue said in an exaggerated manner. Ah! Starve to death. The great elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and thought to himself, he's a reverent god after all, is there a need to starve to death? Chapter 16:12, So It's Her, 3, Yup. Leng Ruoxue was all smiles when suddenly, the entire arena turned silent. She followed the gazes of the crowd and looked towards the entrance. A beautiful woman in red, surrounded by a crowd, slowly walked in. Not only was this woman devastatingly beautiful and unparalleled, but she also possessed an extraordinary temperament. Her every movement was filled with infinite charm, making it impossible for people to look away. At this moment, she was like a source of light, attracting all their gazes. However, the woman's beautiful face had an innate arrogance, giving people a feeling of being unapproachable. Although he was not sure of this woman's identity, just from her strength as a divine lord and the way she was surrounded by people, her status in the Ning family was probably not low. When she saw this woman, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but think of Ning Shi-er. Ning Shi-er was clearly superior to her. Furthermore, Ning Shi-er was also dressed in red when they first met. However, when Ning Shi-er put on her red clothes, she was definitely not as flamboyant and domineering as this woman. The two of them were similar in appearance, but their temperament and aura were far apart. Ning Shi-er had only been able to show off in the Ning family because of Ning Yuan and her young master brother, who didn't like her. However, this woman had the right to be arrogant. After all, only strength could tell everything. Girl, she's the 9th young lady of the Ning family. The first elder said in a soft voice. It's her. Leng Ruoxue squinted her beautiful eyes and thought to herself, she's indeed an extremely overbearing woman. She's only here to watch the competition and she's already made such a big scene. She doesn't seem to know what keeping a low profile is. This 9th young mistress is a famous person. There are as many suitors as carps in the river, but she doesn't like any of them. She only wants to avoid the young master of the Qing family. The first elder said with an evil smile. First elder, why are you so nosy? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows and teased. Little girl. I'm doing this for your own good. You're still weak now, and if you encounter this 9th young lady, it's better to avoid her for the time being. It's not worth it to fight her head-on. A trace of worry flashed in the first elder's shrewd eyes. The 9th miss of the Ning family was like most women. She didn't like women who were better than her. And Shuai was now better than her in both appearance and temperament, except for her strength. With this kind of karma, how could the 9th miss not find trouble with her? Fortunately, Shuai had always kept a low profile and had their protection. As long as she hid from the 9th young mistress for a while, there should not be too much trouble. First elder, don't worry. As long as she doesn't provoke me, I won't take the initiative to provoke her, Leng Ruoxue promised. Actually, she wanted to say that she was about to leave the Ning family, so this 9th young mistress was just a passerby to her. She did not take her words to heart at all. That's good. The great elder was relieved. At this moment, Ning Shan was already seated on the stage. However, with her sharp eyes, she immediately noticed Leng Ruoxue who was sitting in the VIP area opposite her. Thanks, Ning Shan squinted her eyes as she tried to figure out the identity of the woman in white. To be able to sit in the honored guest's seat, could he be an honored guest of the Ning family? At the thought of this, she turned her head and asked the person sitting beside her in a low voice, who's that white-robed woman in the VIP seats opposite? Her. She's our Ning family's new favorite, and her reputation in the Ning family is even higher than yours, the 9th young miss. The woman beside Ning Shan covered her mouth and laughed. Cut the crap, tell me who she is. Ning Shan asked impatiently. The woman in front of her was too beautiful. No matter how she looked at her, she did not like her. Furthermore, she seemed to have a natural enmity towards that woman. She did not like that woman. I didn't like it from the first time I saw it. She's Leng Ruoxue, the elder ancestor's goddaughter. Sister 9, you don't know. The old ancestor is almost praising her to the heavens, even Aunt Yen has to bow down to her. The woman who had spoken was the 4th young lady of the Ning family, Ning Lian. So it's her. It seems that fourth sister really hates her. Ning Shan said with a faint smile. She could hear the jealousy in Ning Lian's words. However, such a woman would indeed make people jealous. She has the old ancestor as her backing, how would I dare to hate her? Ning Lian's face was full of jealousy. She did not mean what she said. Yes, she hated Leng Ruoxue, but it was of no use. Who asked her to have such a strong backing? That's true. But I don't understand. There are so many girls in the Ning family, but old ancestor doesn't like any of them. We can understand that old ancestor doesn't like her, but Aunt Yen is old ancestor's biological daughter. How could the old ancestor let a woman of unknown appearance occupy Aunt Yen's pampering? Ning Shan said indignantly. There are rumors that Leng Ruoxue is old Grand Madame's illegitimate daughter. Ning Lian whispered into Ning Shan's ear. Arg! Really? Ning Shan's face was filled with shock. It's been spreading in private. Otherwise, why would the ancestor dote on her so much? Ning Lian pouted, her words full of jealousy. What nonsense are you guys talking about? Suddenly, Ning Yan's voice reached their ears. In fact, she had been here for a while, but the two were too focused on talking and didn't notice her. She didn't say anything and just stood behind them, waiting to see what they could say. A dog's mouth really can't spit out ivory. Aunt Yen. You're here. Ning Shan and Ning Lian raised their heads and looked at Ning Yen, who was not far away with a straight face, and hurriedly said, as a direct descendant of the Ning family, the most important thing is to watch your mouth. You should know what you should say and what you can only keep to yourself. If I find out that you're talking nonsense again, don't blame me for being impolite. Ning Yen said unhappily. Then, she picked a seat further away from them and sat down. To Ning Shan and Ning Lian Ning Yan's words were nothing but pure jealousy. Yes. It was jealousy. The old ancestor who usually doted on her the most no longer doted on her. It would be strange if she wasn't jealous. The two of them looked at each other with a tacit understanding and suddenly felt much more balanced. With the start of the match, the noise on the stage became much quieter. The last match was carried out on the same stage. There were 4 rounds, and each round was divided into 2 groups, with one person getting a free pass. The person who got a bye in the first round was Ning Hai. This was not good news for any of the participants, because getting a bye in the first round meant that he would have to fight 4 battles in a row in the next round. This was a huge consumption of physical strength and divine power. Although the competition allowed them to take pills to recover their divine power, it was just a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. However, this was just someone else's gu fei. With the elixir that Leng Ruoxue gave Ning Hai, to Ning Hai, for consecutive battles were just child's play. At this time, Ning Bo was fighting in the ring. His opponent was also a god master like him, and their strength was equal. It was difficult to predict the outcome of the battle at the moment. However, after a long battle, Ning Bo's opponent gradually showed signs of defeat. Seeing this, Ning Bo exerted his unique skill and defeated his opponent. Chapter 16:13, So it's her. 4. As for the other group, the monarch god level contestant won without any suspense. The second round of the competition began after a half-hour break. Ning Hai's opponent was a god tier master. Ning Hai easily defeated his opponent with only dozens of moves. As the competition progressed, the first 4 rounds ended quickly. Ning Hai and the monarch god also won 3 rounds. 1 round was a bye. Ning Bo and a god master each won 1 round. The other god master lost all 4 rounds. In the last round, he was a bye. Therefore, his match had ended early. In the last round of the competition, Ning Hai's opponent was the third god that he had defeated in the previous competition. As for Ning Bo and his opponent, the number of wins and losses were the same. The winner of the last round would be the 3rd place of the family competition. After the break, the final round of the competition officially began. Ningbo and his opponent were the first to go on stage. Ningbo was in high spirits, and he strode up to the ring, while his opponent was a bit dispirited. After 3 high-intensity matches, it was definitely a huge test for the contestants, and it was related to their future and their families, so they were more or less nervous. However, Ningbo didn't care about this. To him, no matter if the result was good or bad, it wouldn't affect his future in the family. After all, he had already followed Leng Ruoxue and wouldn't stay in the family for too long. As for Ning Hai, he was confident in his own strength. With the protection of Leng Ruoxue's elixir, he had no pressure. Ning Ba's match ended in less than half an hour with his opponent admitting defeat. Then, Ning Hai and the Sir God made their grand entrance. The Sir God sized up Ning Hai and was secretly surprised. He did not expect that Ning Hai would recover to his best state after a short rest. This gave him a bad feeling. One should know that he had made ample preparations for this match. He had even spent a large amount of money to buy a lot of divine power recovery pills. However, even so, his strength had not been fully recovered. So what was going on with this Ning Hai? His condition was actually better than his own. He couldn't believe his eyes and couldn't help but ask, "You took a pill to recover Shin power?" "I ate it." Ning Hai did not hide anything. The Sir God was shocked. As he had expected, they had also taken the pill to recover their divine power, but the other's divine power recovery was better than his. This could only mean that the quality of the pill Ning Hai had taken was better than his. Before the match, he had specially investigated Ning Hai's situation. Therefore, he could not understand how Ning Hai could afford such a good divine power recovery pill. He could not help but feel a little jealous. "Thanks, can we start now?" Ning Hai was a little impatient. The opponent in front of him was obviously not as carefree as he was in the previous matches. "Let's start," the Divine Lord said unwillingly as his heart wavered. "Receive my attack." After Ning Hai finished, a huge light blue phoenix appeared in the air. Its lively eyes and colorful feathers were clearly visible. Its long tail feathers were like beautiful ribbons, floating in the air. Suddenly, everyone in the arena felt a cool breeze. Immediately after, 2 loud phoenix cries were heard. A blue light transformed into a pale blue bolt of lightning and quickly flew towards the Divine Lord. Seeing this, the Divine Lord immediately used his divine power to create a water dragon. The dragon and phoenix met in the air and stared at each other for a few seconds. The cries of the phoenix and the dragon's cry rang out one after another. Then, the dragon and the phoenix entangled. Then, Ning Hai did not continue to use his divine power. Instead, he sent more divine power into the phoenix he had created. The phoenix was the incarnation of his divine power and was connected to his mind. It was easier to control. With the infusion of the divine power, the phoenix's body more than doubled in size, and the aura on its body became even stronger. In a few breaths, it had completely gained the upper hand. When the Sir God saw this, he quickly stopped his divine skill and sent the divine power he had gathered into the water dragon's body. Unfortunately, even with the support of his divine power, the water dragon that was showing signs of defeat had already lost the initiative. Slowly, the water dragon became more and more transparent, while the phoenix that was fighting with it became larger, clearer, and more vivid. As the last trace of divine power on the water dragon's body disappeared, the water dragon also disappeared in the air. Seeing this, Ning Hai continued to pursue. A lifelike pale blue phoenix descended in an extremely elegant manner. The 2 phoenixes chased each other in the sky and looked at the Divine Lord with disdain. The Sir God was furious and quickly conjured 2 huge water dragons to fight. However, the 2 water dragons obviously did not have enough divine power and their figures were weak. Moreover, their aura was not as strong as the 2 arrogant phoenixes. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue could not help but laugh. "I didn't think that the simple and honest brother Ning would also learn how to anger people." Chapter 1614, The First Confrontation. 1. The 2 dragons and 2 phoenixes collided passionately, but it became a one-sided situation. The Sir God who controlled the two water dragons was obviously exhausted. The two water dragons became more and more illusionary while Ning Hai became more and more courageous. After a while, the two proud light blue phoenixes finally devoured the dim and weak water dragon and circled in the air in a swaggering manner. The Divine Lord, on the other hand, was exhausted. Bang! He fell onto the stage. Seeing this, the judge waited for a while before loudly announcing that Ning Hai had won this round. When the family competition was over, Ning Hai won the championship with an indisputable result. As soon as he got off the ring, Ning Hai was surrounded by many clansmen. Most of them were trying to get on his good side, but there were also some who wanted to take the opportunity to win him over. According to tradition, the day after the family competition ended, there would be a grand celebration banquet, and Ning Hai was the well-deserved protagonist. When Leng Ruoxue saw that the competition had ended, she did not stay any longer and left the competition grounds with grapes and lotus seed. However, just as they walked out of the arena, the three of them were stopped by two beautiful women. One of them was the 9th young miss of the Ning family who had been in the limelight before the start of the competition, and the other was the 4th young miss of the Ning family who they had only met a few times. Leng Ruoxue raised her brows slightly and looked at the woman in front of her with an extremely calm expression. "You're Leng Ruoxue." Ning Shan'er knew that she had to be careful, so she sized Leng Ruoxue up with her beautiful eyes. Leng Ruoxue looked even more beautiful up close. Her face was devastatingly beautiful. Her skin was so smooth that it looked like it would break at the slightest touch. Her eyes were like autumn water, clear and transparent, moist and mesmerizing. She had a noble aura with a hint of coldness. The only flaw in her beauty was that her cultivation level was too low. However, this did not affect men's tender love for her. Furthermore, to men, strength was not important. Beauty and gentleness were the most effective weapons. To Ning Shan'er, Leng Ruoxue just happened to possess all these qualities. Vixen! Ning Shan'er cursed in her heart. Her impression of Leng Ruoxue was as bad as dust. Ever since she was young, she had always been confident in her beauty. However, in front of Leng Ruoxue, she could not bring herself to be confident. Furthermore, she would not allow anyone to be more beautiful than her and steal her limelight. So, from the moment she saw Leng Ruoxue was destined to become her mortal enemy. A lifelong enemy. That's right. What can I do for you, young lady? Leng Ruoxue smiled faintly as her beautiful eyes sized up the red-robed lady before her. It was said that red clothes were like fire. People who liked to wear red clothes were either hot-tempered or tyrannical. He wondered which kind of person this 9th young mistress belonged to. However, she could also see that this 9th young mistress had an inexplicable hostility towards her. Although she didn't know how she had offended her, according to her principles, as long as the 9th young mistress didn't take the initiative to provoke her, she wouldn't look for trouble for no reason. Ning Shan'er, the 9th young lady of the Ning family. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue did not seem to know who she was, Ning Shan'er could not help but feel a little angry. I've long heard of your great name. Leng Ruoxue had a faint smile on her face as she spoke in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. Since you know who I am, hurry up and bow. Ning Shan'er said arrogantly. The way she looked at Leng Ruoxue was as if Leng Ruoxue was just a lowly servant of the Ning family. It is. Hurry up and bow to us. Ning Lianer said proudly, but the smile on her lips could not hide her good mood. When Leng Ruoxue heard their conversation, she was stunned and speechless. She really didn't know where these two women got their courage from. Were they feeling good about themselves? She had seen many daughters from rich families, but it was rare to see one so self-righteous. Thanks, what a joke. Who do you think you are? You want my family's young miss to bow to you, are you even worthy? Grape said with a look of disdain. How audacious. You lowly servant actually dared to offend your superior. Men! Capture this lowly servant and serve her with the family law. Ning Shan'er roared in anger. She had done this to give Leng Ruoxue a warning. That's right. Someone come quickly. Ning Lian also shouted loudly, 100% using her authority as a fox to intimidate others. Hearing their cries, a group of guards happened to pass by and quickly ran over. Ninth young mistress, fourth young mistress, what can I do for you? The captain of the guards asked. Take this cheap slave into the prison. Ning Shan instructed. The guard looked at Ning Shan then sneaked a glance at Leng Ruoxue. He was in a difficult position. They could not afford to offend the ninth young mistress, but they could not afford to offend Leng Ruoxue even more. Sigh. If they had known that they would be in such a difficult situation, they would not have come. At this moment, the captain of the guards was filled with regret. I'll see who dares to touch my maidservant. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. Even though her voice was not loud, it was enough for everyone to hear her clearly. Your maidservant has offended her superior. Ning Shan reminded. Actually, she wanted to capture Leng Ruoxue more, but she did not have the guts to do so. Hence, she could only vent her anger on Leng Ruoxue's maidservant. Moreover, that maidservant had provoked her yesterday. Since she had managed to escape yesterday, she would not get away with it today. What did she do? Leng Ruoxue asked with a half-smile. She offended me and fourth sister. Ning Shan said loudly. You and fourth miss. You're not her master, so what if I offend you? Even I, as her master, didn't say anything, so what right do you have to punish my maidservant? Leng Ruoxue smiled faintly and asked in disbelief. Leng Ruoxue. Don't forget where you are now. This is the Ning family, you're just living under someone else's roof, humph. You dare to be so arrogant in front of the host's family, you really don't want to live. Ning Shan laughed coldly. Ninth young mistress, it's true that we're living under someone else's roof, but we're not living under your roof. The Ning family belongs to my godfather. According to seniority, I'm your elder. It's already rude of you to not greet your elder, but now you're giving your elder a hard time. Is this how the Ning family treats guests? Leng Ruoxue said with a calm smile. You still want to be our elder? This is preposterous. Ning Shan was furious. He raised his hand and was about to give Leng Ruoxue a slap, but Leng Ruoxue grabbed his wrist. You'll regret it if you hit me. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. The expression on her face was neither angry nor annoyed, so no one could tell what she was thinking. Damn it, let me go. Ning Shan struggled, but Leng Ruoxue's slender hand was like a pair of iron pincers that held her wrist tightly, preventing her from breaking free. Upon seeing this, Ning Shan could only secretly give Ning Lian a look. Ning Lian understood and unexpectedly reached out her hand to slap Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face. Lianzi quickly grabbed Ning Lian's wrist and gave her a tight slap. Half of Ning Lian's face was swollen. Chapter 1615, The First Confrontation, 2, Ning Lian gasped. She had never been so humiliated in her entire life. Besides the pain, she felt more embarrassed than anything else. Why are you crying? Don't cry. When Ning Shan saw the situation, she said unhappily. She was cursing in her heart. What a useless woman. She couldn't even handle such a small matter and even let a maidservant beat her up. If this were to spread, wouldn't she be laughed at to death? She really regretted bringing Ning Lian this idiot, with her today. He had thought that having an idiot by his side would bring out his cleverness. Who knew that this idiot was actually a piece of mud that couldn't be helped? Leng Ruoxue and the other two laughed in their hearts when they saw that the two of them had the tendency to turn against each other. You cheap slave. You actually dare to hit me? Tears welled up in Ning Lian's beautiful eyes as she vented all her anger on Lotus Seed. It was fine if she was scolded by Ning Shan, but a little maidservant actually dared to bully her. She really didn't know what was good for her. She secretly hated her. You wanted to hit my family's young miss. Me giving you a slap is already considered light. Lotus Seed said disdainfully, his grip on her wrist tightening. Arg! It hurts. Ning Lian gritted her teeth, her imposing manner completely gone. Seeing this, Lotus Seed let go of her hand in disdain and pushed her back, only to hear a plop. Ning Lian fell to the ground in an extremely inelegant position and fainted. The dress she was wearing was flipped to her waist, revealing her two white and thick legs. What was even more incredible was that the bottom of her dress was completely exposed. It was all exposed to everyone, especially the guards who were present. They all widened their eyes in disbelief and were dumbfounded. After a long while, they came back to their senses and turned around. It was impolite not to look. The sight of Ning Lian's naked body after she fell to the ground stunned Leng Ruoxue and the other two. They thought to themselves, I didn't expect Ning Lian to be such a reserved person. What's the meaning of her dressing like this? The three of them were very curious. When Ning Shan saw this, she only felt embarrassed and regretted being with this dumb woman even more. Qing Xian and Ning Haolan, who had been hiding in a corner, were also dumbfounded by this dramatic scene. However, they quickly regained their senses. Your sister sure is open-minded. Qing Xian couldn't help but tease. There was an obvious hint of gloating in his tone. She's not my sister. Ning Haolan rolled his eyes at Qing Xian. That's even less of a sister to me. Should we be the hero saving the beauty? Qing Xian said with a smirk. If you want to save Ning Shan, then go. I'm not stopping you. Ning Haolan's lips curled into an evil smile as he teased her. Who said we were going to save her? I'm talking about saving Leng Ruoxue. Qing Xian protested in agitation. You think she needs you to save her? Ning Haolan raised an eyebrow and asked. Of course. The weak woman had fallen into the hands of Poison Scorpion. If I don't save her, she'll be bullied. Qing Xian said matter-of-factly. Which eye of yours saw her being bullied? Ning Haolan was speechless. In his opinion, the one who was being bullied was obviously Ning Shan. He really did not expect that a god monarch was actually helpless against a mid-level deity. This was really too unbelievable. I can see it with both eyes, no. I have to go out and save the beauty. After Qing Xian finished speaking, he strode towards Leng Ruoxu's direction. After walking to Leng Ruoxu's side, Qing Xian smiled and looked at the two people who were at daggers drawn. He said happily, ape shit. I can't believe I met the 9th young mistress here. Thanks, what are you doing here? When Ning Shan saw Qing Xian, she was not happy at all. She did not want this man to see her embarrassing herself. He would definitely take the opportunity to laugh at her. I'm here to see you. They are all people I know. You two seem to have a good relationship. Look. You're holding her hands so tightly. Qing Xian said with an envious look. As expected, Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Qing Xian's words. She thought to herself, which eye of yours saw that we're close? He only grabbed her because he didn't want to be slapped. Damn it. Let me go. Qing Xian's words seemed to have an invisible force, stimulating Ning Shan and making her struggle again. Why couldn't she escape from Leng Ruoxu's control? She was a divine lord. All right then. Leng Ruoxue was very obedient. With a gentle wave of her hand, she released Ning Shan's wrist that was restrained. However, it seemed that she had released Ning Shan with too much force. Ning Shan lost her balance and fell backward from the rebound. Bang! He fell to the ground. Seeing this, Qing Xian lowered his head and laughed secretly. On the other hand, Ning Shan flew into a rage out of embarrassment. She crawled up from the ground in a sorry state and glared at Leng Ruoxue fiercely. She roared furiously, damn it. You're clearly doing this on purpose. In her entire life, she had never lost so much face. At this moment, she even had the thought of biting Leng Ruoxue to death. 9th young mistress. You're so unreasonable. You asked me to let you go, and I did as you were told. However, you didn't stand firm and you actually put the blame on me. You're really going too far. I'm going to tell Godfather that you've wronged me. Leng Ruoxiu's eyes were filled with tears as she spoke in an extremely aggrieved tone. It is. You bullied my family's young miss, you must definitely tell the Ning family's old ancestor about this. Grape echoed indignantly. It's really impolite to ask the Ning family's old ancestor to take care of the Ning family's juniors. As juniors, they actually dare to ask my family's young miss to bow to them? Which family's upbringing is this? Lotus Seed also added fuel to the fire. You even wanted to give my family's young miss a slap. Grape added. You guys, Ning Shan'er was so angry at Leng Ruoxiu and the other two that she was speechless. Her towering chest heaved up and down rapidly, and her beautiful face flushed red and then paled. She was obviously very angry. Qing Xian saw that Ning Shan'er was angered to the point of almost vomiting blood by Leng Ruoxiu's and her two servants' echoing words, and his mood brightened up. He unceremoniously added, Indeed, we have to let the Ning family's ancestor know. Otherwise, the Ning family's guests will all be offended by these unruly juniors. Yes, yes. Leng Ruoxiu and the other two nodded in unison. If ninth young mistress has nothing else to say, we'll take our leave. Leng Ruoxiu said with a faint smile as she looked at Ning Shan'er, who was so angry that she could only stare. Then, the three of them passed by Ning Shan'er and swaggered towards the forbidden area in the back mountain. As he watched Leng Ruoxiu and the other two leave, Qing Xian then reminded them seriously, Ninth young mistress. You really shouldn't have provoked her. AI. Fortunately, she gave your Ning family face and didn't do anything to you. Otherwise, it would be too late for you to regret it. There are some people you shouldn't provoke. With that, Qing Xian also left. After hearing Qing Xian's words, the anger in Ning Shan'er's heart grew even more. She did not think that Qing Xian was reminding her out of kindness. In her opinion, Qing Xian was clearly provoking her. However, she had more important things to do now. Hence, she could not be bothered to continue finding trouble with Leng Ruoxiu. Chapter 16:16, The First Confrontation, 3, She looked at the unconscious Ning Lian'er with disdain and left. When the unlucky guards saw this, they had no choice but to take on the heavy responsibility of sending the fourth young miss back to her room. As for Ning Shan'er, she left the Ning family's main residence with a body full of anger, heading straight for the city's largest inn, Ning Gui Inn. Ningguei restaurant was located in the southeast of the main city. It was one of the inns that belonged to the Ning family. They had chain stores in almost every city in the Divine Realm, and this Ningguei restaurant in the main city of the Ning family was also the largest main store. Ningguei building was divided into 5 floors. The first floor was the main hall, the second floor was the dining hall, and the third floor and above were the guest rooms. After Ning Shan'er entered Ningguei restaurant, she went straight to the 5th floor of the inn. The guest rooms on that floor were the best in Ningguei restaurant, and she was naturally here to look for someone. However, just as she stepped onto the 5th floor, she was stopped by someone. Miss Ning, why are you here? A young man who looked like a guard said very politely. I am here to see Brother Yi. Ning Shan'er's face was filled with shyness, and 2 red clouds appeared on her cheeks. I'm sorry. Young Master Yi is in seclusion and won't see anyone. The young man frowned slightly, but his attitude was still very kind. In fact, he had long been impatient. He had never seen such a thick-skinned woman before. They had already made it clear that they did not welcome her, but this woman still acted as if nothing had happened. She was always by their side. Of course, her purpose was obvious, but it was a pity that she was a toad lusting after swan meat. And that swan was not one to be trifled with. You won't even see me. Ning Shan'er's face was full of hidden bitterness, and her eyes were overflowing with autumn water. She stared at the young man with her bright eyes, and her gaze was slightly electrifying. It's because of you that I don't want to see you. The young man sighed and despised Ning Shan'er in his heart. Did she think that by seducing him, he would obediently follow her orders? Although the beauty in front of him seemed to be quite lovable, it was a pity that he did not dare to have tender feelings for her. Seeing that the young man only looked at her indifferently, not moved in the slightest, and not saying a word, Ning Shan became a little anxious. She cursed in her heart with endless chagrin. He was only a servant, yet he actually dared not give her face. This was really infuriating. Humph. When she became Madame Yi one day, she would definitely teach these dog servants a lesson. Ning Shan was filled with hatred. I'm sorry. Young Master Yi said he won't see anyone. The young man repeated after a while. You didn't help me inform him. How do you know that Brother Yi doesn't want to see me? Ning Shan suppressed her anger and said with an unconvinced expression. When the young man heard Ning Shan's words, he looked at her speechlessly. He could tell that Ning Shan meant that she was not included in the not seeing anyone category and that she was special. There's no need to inform you. Young Master Yi is in seclusion and has no time to see you. The young man sighed softly and said helplessly. Actually, he was a little sympathetic towards Ning Shan. It wasn't because of her persistence towards the person she loved, but because of her self-righteousness and self-admiration. It was rare to see a woman with such thick skin. Is it because of that Xian? Ning Shan asked through gritted teeth. Which Xian? The young man was stunned, and a confused look appeared in his eyes. Who else is there, Xian? Of course, it's the one with you. Ning Shan said through gritted teeth. That bitch named Xian was the only woman who could stay by Brother Ye's side. She was also the only woman who Brother Yi would treat with respect. Therefore, she was so jealous of Xian that she was about to go crazy. Ah! Miss Ning, you should be talking about her. The young man was suddenly enlightened, but he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed like Ning Shan had taken Miss Xian as a love rival. What the hell was this? Other than her, is there any other Xian? Ning Shan was burning with jealousy. Miss Ning, Miss Xian doesn't like young Master Yi. You've misunderstood. The young man explained kindly. He didn't want Miss Xian to be hated by this hateful woman. That would definitely be an undeserved calamity. Misunderstanding? Do you think I'm blind? I can see it very clearly. Ning Shan clearly did not believe this young man's words. Ah! You've really misunderstood. The young man said with a faint smile. Actually, he wanted to say, you're really blind. Which eye of yours saw that Miss Xian liked young Master Yi? Don't lie to me. I only believe what I see. Ning Shan said stubbornly. She had already determined that Xian was her love rival. Therefore, it was difficult to change her preconceived notion. In fact, she even thought that Brother Yi was unwilling to see her because of that hateful Xian. The young man was speechless. Although he really wanted to continue arguing that Miss Xian really didn't like young Master Yi, he gave up when he saw Ning Shan's stubborn expression. Thanks unfortunately, his silence confirmed Ning Shan's guess. That damned woman, Xian was really her love rival. Ning Shan felt hatred in her heart. After a while, she spoke again. Is Xian here? I want to see her. I'm sorry. Young Lady Xian is not here either. The young man hurriedly said. Seeing Ning Shan's clenched teeth, he didn't dare to let her see Miss Xian. They're all not here. The doubts in Ning Shan's heart grew even deeper, and the sour bubbles in her heart continued to bubble. Young Master Yi is in seclusion, Miss Xian is not here. The young man said clearly. Ning Shan they're all not around. It made him feel a little uneasy. Then when will Big Brother Yi come out of seclusion? Ning Shan said with a faint smile as she tried to hide the sourness in her heart. I don't know. The young man said after some thought. Today's Ning family competition has ended. There will be a grand celebration party tomorrow night. I would like to invite Brother Yi to attend. I wonder if Brother Yi has time. Ning Shan said shyly. This There should be some time. The young man didn't dare to speak too firmly. That's great. This is the invitation, I will be at the door to welcome Brother Yi. Ning Shaner said happily. Then, she handed a golden invitation card to the young man. Although she really wanted to hand the invitation card to Brother Yi personally, it seemed like she would not have the chance to do so judging from the current situation. Thank you very much, Miss Ning. The young man said courteously. After that, he did not say anything else. Seeing this, Ning Shaner could only unwillingly take her leave. After watching Ning Shaner's back view and making sure that she had left, the young man turned around and entered a room. Young Master. Ning Shaner has sent an invitation to invite young Master Yi to a banquet tomorrow. The young man passed the invitation to a man sitting in the hall. I know. The man took the invitation and threw it on the table beside him without even looking at it. Young Master. Are we going tomorrow? The young man asked curiously. Of course I'm going. The man said. They had originally planned to go to the Ning family, and now that they had sent an invitation, it saved them the trouble of reporting their names. Then what about young Master Yi? The young man's face was full of question marks. That young Master Yi was really in seclusion, and it seemed like he was about to break through. Let's go take a look first. Well, go with him after he's finished breaking through. The man said helplessly, but he couldn't help but feel disgusted in his heart. That pervert's strength was originally inferior to his, but it had only been a short time. Her strength was about to surpass his, woo. It was really infuriating to compare. Compared to that monster, he felt that he couldn't even live. Just as the man was remorseful, a new law of the world suddenly descended from the sky. The terrifying aura that hit them in the face made it hard for them to breathe. The man and the others were shocked and hurriedly ran out of the room. Immediately, they saw that the room on the 5th floor was already covered by the law of the world, and a dazzling 7-colored light was seeping out of the room. The light lasted for a long time, and it carried a powerful pressure that made people feel respect. What was going on? Everyone present was puzzled. It wasn't that they hadn't seen the law of the world during a breakthrough, but it was the first time they had seen the law of the world carry such a strong pressure. This was really too inconceivable. Everyone's curiosity was like a cat's scratch, but the law of the world had not disappeared yet, so they didn't dare to act rashly. After waiting for a long time, the laws of heaven and earth finally dissipated completely. However, the door of the room still did not open. Seeing this, everyone could only continue to wait. In the room, an extremely handsome man was sitting cross-legged on the bed, surrounded by dazzling black crystals that were as bright as black diamonds. As he circulated the spell in his body, the spiritual chi in the black crystals slowly left and was absorbed into his body. As the black nebula-like fog in his dantian gathered more and more, and began to rotate rapidly, suddenly, a loud and clear phoenix cry resounded through the sky. In an instant, a huge, pitch-black phoenix shining with golden light shot out from the nebel-shaped mist with an unparalleled domineering force. It circled the spacious room a few times before landing in front of the handsome man with extreme resentment. Master! The black phoenix landed on the handsome man's shoulder. At this moment, the handsome man slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were as black as ink and as dazzling as diamonds. They were more beautiful than the stars in the night sky. The ripples in his eyes were so beautiful that they could make the world lose its color. A cold glint was hidden in the depths of his eyes, concealing the domineering aura of a sovereign. Chapter 16-17, She's My Brother's Concubine, 1, MOU, I finally get to see you. A faint smile appeared on the handsome man's lips as he spoke in an extremely gratified manner. Master! MOU's eyes were filled with tears of joy. Why are you crying? From now on, you can stay by my side. The handsome man gently stroked the black phoenix's soft feathers and said with a faint smile. Master. I'm happy. MOU forced a smile. After being washed by tears, his black and bright eyes became even brighter and more moist. MOU, for convenience's sake, you should transform into your human form. After thinking for a while, the handsome man said, Yes, Master. Yes, Emu replied. As soon as he finished speaking, a man in black who looked similar to the handsome man appeared in the room. This man was the Black Phoenix's human form. Although he looked similar to his master, his temperament was completely different. This man had a more wild and unruly aura than the handsome man. Let's go out. The handsome man said with a faint smile when he saw that Emu had completed his transformation. Yes. Emu nodded. Then, the door of the room was opened, and the two of them walked out one after another. At that moment, the people outside the room were dumbfounded when they saw the person coming out of the room. Who was this person? Where is young Master Yi? Then, when they saw the handsome man behind Emu, the fire of gossip in their hearts burned. They all wanted to know who the person walking in front was, and what was his relationship with young Master Yi. However, since young Master Yi didn't take the initiative to speak, they could only think about it in their hearts and didn't dare to ask. His name is Emu, he is my beastie's transformation. The handsome man chuckled when he saw everyone's reaction. I thought you didn't have any beastie. The man who was called young master muttered softly. How can I not have a beastie? I just haven't used it. The handsome man found it a little funny. His beastie had always been in a sealed state. Now that he had just advanced to the God King level, he had the ability to unseal his beastie. Oh. That's right. Ning Shan'er has sent us an invitation to attend the Ning family's celebration party tomorrow night. The man nodded and said. Then let's go together. The handsome man, who was Yi Chen, said. He didn't know if Shuai was in the Ning family. However, even if she was, the old man in the Ning family probably wouldn't be willing to tell him so easily. He was well aware of this fact, but it wouldn't be easy for the old man in the Ning family to lie to him. Okay, I'll make the arrangements. The young master that everyone was talking about was Yin Xiao. Arrange what? Yi Chen was a little puzzled. I'll go prepare some gifts. After all, she's a guest. Yin Xiao explained. No need, just go straight to the door. Ye Chen said disapprovingly. Thanks, that's not good. A few drops of cold sweat hung on Yin Xiao's forehead as he speechlessly said. As long as I go, no matter what gift I prepare, that old man from the Ning family will not be satisfied. Yi Chen was well aware. Besides, he didn't want to go to the Ning family to give gifts. His goal was Shuai. Does the Ning family's old forefather not like you that much? Yin Xiao was speechless. That old man loves to act coquettishly in front of Shuai and fight for my favor. Yi Chen gritted his teeth. He hated the old man to death when he thought of this. However, he could not do anything to the old man. He could only stare at him helplessly. Other than Yin Xiao, everyone else was shocked when they saw Ye Chen gnashing his teeth in anger. Oh my God! Was this the serious and cold young Master Yi? Could it be that he was replaced? They could not believe their eyes. After spending some time together, their impression of Yi Chen was that he spoke very little. Every day, he would either be on the road or cultivating. He didn't really care about them. He would only speak a few words to the young master occasionally and hardly spoke to anyone else. This time. It was probably the first time they had heard Yi Chen speak so much since they had followed the young master and Yi Chen. The group that Yin Xiao was leading right now wasn't the group of people he had brought back from the divine mainland, so they didn't know much about Yi Chen. However, because of some things that had happened in the Yin clan's divine realm, they were in awe of Yi Chen and didn't dare to be negligent. I hope Shuai is in the Ning family. Yin Xiao sincerely hoped that the man in front of him was too much of a troublemaker. Along the way, he had blocked countless peach blossoms for this demon. He hoped that he would not have to suffer so much, he prayed. Fortunately, Ye Chen didn't know what Yin Xiao was thinking. Otherwise, he would have scoffed at what he was thinking. The two of them exchanged a few words before Yi-Chen returned to his room to continue his cultivation. Yin Xiao, on the other hand, went to prepare the gift. To him, it was one thing to give the gift or not, but he had to prepare it first to avoid embarrassing himself. The day passed by very quickly. Leng Ruoxue was bored out of her mind staying in the forbidden area. Ning Yan did not come to look for her. As for the 9th young mistress who wanted to cause trouble for her, she had not seen her at all. She could not help but feel surprised. Logically speaking, the 9th young mistress of the Ning family should have tried her best to enter the forbidden area. How did she disappear? Leng Ruoxue was slightly disappointed. She felt that the 9th young mistress was too unprofessional. Furthermore, the 2nd elder had disappeared. Grape. Where did the 2nd elder go? Leng Ruoxue lifted her beautiful eyes and asked the grape beside her. I don't know. He should be helping out in the main residence. Grape guessed that the Ning family would have a grand celebration party tonight. Everyone in the Ning family was busy. No one was idle. Except for the 3 of them, Ningbo had been captured to be a coolie. He didn't tell us when he left. What a disobedient bodyguard. Leng Ruoxue was a little unhappy. She knew that 2nd elder did not take her seriously. However, she had his nude photos in her hands. Shouldn't that old man be more honest? Who would dare to hire an uncontrollable bodyguard? Great aunt. I'm here to accompany you. Suddenly, Qing Xian's voice entered Leng Ruoxue's ears. She looked in the direction of the voice and saw Qing Xian dressed in red. He was standing not far away, making a scene. It seems like you're as free as I am. Leng Ruoxue laughed lightly as she teased. Yup. I'm not a member of the Ning family, so how could the Ning family have the nerve to order me to do this and that? Qing Xian said with a smile. Your red dress is a good match for Miss Zhou S. Is it a couple's outfit? Leng Ruoxue sized up Qing Xian from head to toe and came to an important conclusion. Couple? Don't talk nonsense, there's nothing between me and that woman, even whiter than a piece of paper. Leng Ruoxue's words caused Qing Xian to jump up in shock as he denied loudly. I'm not talking nonsense. Everyone knows that the 9th miss of the Ning family will only marry young Master Cheng. Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly as she teased. Chapter 1618, She's my brother's concubine, too. That's old news, the 9th young mistress likes someone else now. Qing Xian said, gloating. I don't know who's so unlucky to be chosen by her, sigh. It's really pitiful. Qing Xian sighed. Qing Xian's words piqued Leng Ruoxue's curiosity. The man in front of her was already a source of trouble, but there was actually a man who could make the 9th miss of the Ning family fall in love with someone else. In that case, wouldn't the man who made the 9th miss fall in love be even more of a trouble? Great aunt. I'm telling you. This 9th young mistress isn't easy to deal with. Before you become a reverent god, you should try to avoid her as much as possible. Otherwise, if she pesters you, you'll cry to death. Qing Xian continued to speak with a face full of fear. Why? Leng Ruoxue did not understand, but she was not a timid person. If becoming a reverent god was the only way to avoid 9th Miss Ning's pestering and trouble, wouldn't she be suffocated to death? That woman likes to be unreasonable and distort the truth. The elders in her line are extremely protective of their own, so if we provoke her, we will be the unlucky ones. My heart still aches when I think about my blood and tears in the past few years. Qing Xian said pitifully. Ha ha ha. Don't forget, my godfather is the biggest ancestor of the Ning family. No matter how senior the elders of the 9th Miss line are, aren't they also the descendants of my godfather? Don't tell me they can ride on godfather's head. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. That's not possible. Actually, I'm just reminding you. Qing Xian chuckled. I know, thank you. Leng Ruoxue said with gratitude. Hee hee. Great aunt. Who are we to you? Qing Xian laughed evilly. He had already treated Leng Ruoxue as an ally, so if he didn't help her, who else would he help? Just as Leng Ruoxue and Qing Xian were chatting, Ning Haolan sent someone to invite them over. Following that, Leng Ruoxue and the other three walked towards the main residence. The celebration banquet was held in the garden of the Ning family's main residence. It was a self-service event, with a few long dining tables already set up in the spacious garden. The tables were filled with decorative flowers and food. Although not all the Ning family members were present, almost half of them were. Ning Haolan and a few elders were maintaining order in the garden. Ning Haolan walked over when he saw Leng Ruoxue and the other three. "You guys are here," Ning Haolan said with a smile. Our godfather and the others not here yet?" Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings, but she could not find any trace of her godfather. "The old ancestor is resting in the meeting hall. They will only come out when the celebration banquet officially begins," Ning Haolan explained. "Oh." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Suddenly, from the corner of her eye, she saw Ning Hai's entire family walking in. After greeting Ning Haolan and the others, she walked towards Ning Hai. "Big brother Ning. Congratulations on winning the championship," Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. After the competition ended yesterday, Ning Hai had been surrounded by the people of the Ning family. Later on, when they went to Ning Hai's house, they found that there were also people gathered outside his house. That was why she had the chance to give her blessings now. "Thank you, little sister Ruoxue." Ning Hai winked at Leng Ruoxue to show his gloominess and helplessness. Because just as they said a sentence, another clan member came over. "Big brother Ning. You guys continue chatting, I'll go somewhere else for a while." Leng Ruoxue smiled sympathetically before turning around to leave. Leng Ruoxue found a corner in the garden where there was no one and sat down. "Thanks, miss. Are you tired?" Seeing that her miss was not in a good mood, Grape said worriedly. "I'm not tired. I just don't have much interest in this kind of banquet," Leng Ruoxue said softly. If it wasn't for Big Brother Ning, she wouldn't even bother to attend this celebration party. "Miss, I'll go get you something to eat," Lotus Seed suggested. "Just get me a glass of water," Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. "All right," he said. Lotus Seed turned around and left. Just as Leng Ruoxue was about to close her eyes and take a nap, she was suddenly interrupted by an uninvited voice. "So you're here?" The ninth young mistress of the Ning family said arrogantly with her head held high and chest out. "What can I do for you, ninth young mistress?" Leng Ruoxue didn't even lift her eyelids as she asked lazily. "Leng Ruoxue. Today's celebration banquet is very important to our Ning family. Moreover, those who have come to attend are all members of our Ning family. You, an outsider, really shouldn't be here." Ning Shan reminded him with a look of disdain. "Shouldn't I, an outsider, appear? Then does that mean the head elder of the Craftsmen's Guild, the head of the Qing clan and the young master are also not qualified to participate?" Leng Ruoxue raised her brows and asked calmly. "How can you compare yourself to them?" Ning Shan growled angrily. "We're both outsiders, what's there to be afraid of?" Leng Ruoxue sneered. "The Armament Guild's Grand Elder, the Qing clan's clan head and young master are all influential figures in the divine realm. Who do you think you are to dare to be mentioned in the same breath as them?" Ning Shan was burning with anger, but she did not dare to speak too loudly in case someone else heard her. "Although I'm not an important figure, compared to you, I should still be qualified to participate," Leng Ruoxue replied calmly. Even though she did not know the true motive behind the ninth young mistress' words, or perhaps she really felt that she was not worthy of attending the Ning family's celebration party, it was not that easy to dismiss her with just a few words. Moreover, the ninth young mistress was not the master of the Ning family. Even if she wanted to kick him out, it would not be the ninth young mistress. "Damn it, are you going to leave or not?" Hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Ning Shan started to lose her patience. "What if I say no?" Leng Ruoxue smiled sweetly, her face filled with anger. Damn it. Just you wait. Ning Shaner was so angry that she turned around and left. Seeing that Ning Shaner had left so easily, Grape could not believe it. Miss. She just left like that? Grape said without a sense of accomplishment. Leave? How was that possible? She went to find help. Leng Ruoxue said. Ah. It can't be. Grape wiped the cold sweat on his forehead and was somewhat speechless. He needed help for such a small matter. However, the truth proved that Leng Ruoxue was right. Ning Shaner had indeed brought a young man with her. Ning Shaner had a faint smile on her face. She walked to Leng Ruoxue and said softly, "He's my brother, Ning Haojie. You haven't been in the Ning family for long, so let him accompany you tonight. I can be your guide." She changed her strategy and said considerately. "Hello, Miss Leng. I've long heard of your great name." When Ning Haojie saw Leng Ruoxue, he was stunned. One must know that he had never seen Leng Ruoxue up close before. At first glance, he was greatly attracted. Compared to Leng Ruoxue, all the women he had seen in the past were like dust, insignificant. Chapter 1619, She's My Brother's Concubine, 3, Hello. Leng Ruoxue replied perfunctorily. She was interested to see what this pair of siblings were up to. Even though she could get Qing Ju to read their minds, it would not be as fun as personally participating in it. "Miss Leng, I can see that you don't like crowds. Why don't I take you to other places?" Ning Haojie suggested. His sister had given him the task to bring Leng Ruoxue away from the banquet. Although he did not know why, he agreed when he thought of the benefits his sister had promised him. "All right. However, one of my maidservants went to get food for me. Let's wait for her to come back." Leng Ruoxue said softly. "All right," he said. Ning Haojie nodded his head gracefully. "Big brother. You should accompany Miss Leng well. I'm going to greet the guests." Ning Shaner was very satisfied with the situation. After she finished speaking, she turned around and left in relief. Watching Ning Shaner's back, Leng Ruoxue sat on the same spot without moving. Lotus Seed had gone to get something and had not returned. After waiting for a while, Ning Haojie was a little impatient. "Miss Leng. Why hasn't your maidservant returned yet? Do you want me to go and look for her?" Ning Haojie volunteered. "Then I'll have to trouble young noble Ning." Leng Ruoxue's face was full of gratitude, her beautiful eyes glanced at Ning Haojie. Suddenly, Ning Haojie was extremely excited, as if he had been injected with hormones. "It's no trouble at all." Ning Haojie was very excited. The beauty was actually giving him a charming look. This should be considered taking a fancy to him, right? He was secretly happy. However, Leng Ruoxue was too lazy to read his mind. Otherwise, she would have kindly told him that he was thinking too much. Ning Haojie had just left when Qing Xian came out from the corner, followed by Lotus Seed, who was holding a glass of red fruit juice. "Why are you two together?" Leng Ruoxue asked curiously when she saw them appear together. "When I came back, I saw that Ning Shaner was causing trouble for the young miss, so I immediately went to ask young Master Cheng for help." Lotus Seed explained, her beautiful face still full of worry. "Great Aunt, are you all right?" Qing Xian also said with a worried expression. "Do I look like I'm in trouble?" Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Qing Xian and asked in a bad mood. That ninth young mistress seemed to have something urgent to attend to, so she left in a hurry after exchanging a few words with her, leaving her with a smitten brother. "Hee hee. It's good that you're fine." Qing Xian laughed in embarrassment. "Miss. What the hell was Ning Shaner doing? She actually asked her brother to accompany you?" Lotus Seed asked in confusion. However, she knew that the woman was up to no good. "She doesn't seem to want me to attend this celebration party. I'm not sure why." Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. "This is too strange. She's not the master of the Ning family, so what right does she have to stop you from attending?" Qing Xian was also confused. Maybe we'll know in a while. Let's leave for a while. Len Ruoxue suggested. Yes. Qing Xian nodded. When Ning Haojie returned, Len Ruoxue and the others had already left. Ning Haojie did not see Len Ruoxue, so he went back to the banquet to look for her. Unfortunately, she was nowhere to be found. Thanks, not only was Len Ruoxue nowhere to be seen, even his younger sister was missing. At this moment, Ning Shan was standing at the entrance of the Ning family's main residence like a maidservant, looking left and right. When the guards at the door saw Ning Shan's actions, they were extremely curious. However, when they saw the ninth young mistress' expression turn increasingly dark, they did not dare to ask. AI. The ninth young mistress really didn't know how to cherish her fortune. She could have attended the celebration party, but she stood at the door. As for the people who wanted to attend the celebration party, they could only watch the banquet at the door and sigh. The guards at the door complained in their hearts. Ning Shan, who was standing at the main entrance, was pacing back and forth on the spot like an ant in a hot pot. Her heart was in a mess and she was abnormally frustrated. Could it be that Brother Yi was not coming? She was very disappointed. She had made so many preparations, but Brother Yi had failed to keep their appointment. He waited for a long time. Looking at the time, Ning Shan knew that the celebration party was at least 2/3 through and was about to end. Big Brother Yi still had not appeared. She was both disappointed and sad. Just as she was about to return to the main residence, she suddenly saw a group of people walking over from the left side of the main residence from the corner of her eye. Leading them was the person she had been thinking about day and night, Big Brother Yi. In that instant, the smile on Ning Shan's face bloomed like 100 flowers, dazzling the guards to the point of dizziness. Brother Yi. You guys are here. Ning Shan ran up to him and said with an excited and shy face. She lowered her head and did not dare to look at her sweetheart. Her heart was so nervous that it made thump-thump. It kept jumping. Please call me young Master Yi. Yi Qin said coldly. Yin Xiao and the others lowered their heads and sneered. Brother Yi. We're already so familiar with each other. Ning Shan said coquettishly. Are we close? Yi Chen's black eyes were as dazzling as the stars, and a hint of disdain and impatience flashed in the depths of his eyes. His voice was unusually cold as he spoke. We've known each other for almost a month. Ning Shan could not help but remind him. Ha ha ha. Ning Shan's self-righteous words made Yin Xian in the group burst out laughing. Damn it. What are you laughing at? Hearing Yin Xian's laughter, Ning Shan was exceptionally angry. Can't you laugh? Miss Ning is too overbearing. To be honest, she really admired this woman's thick skin. Even that terrifying Yi Chen couldn't be bothered with her, but Ning Shan seemed to have automatically filtered out Yi Chen's disgust and continued to cling on to her. However, no matter how much Ning Shan thought about it, she was still destined to fail. Of course you can't. Ning Shan roared in jealousy. Miss Ning. Are you planning to keep arguing with my sister at the door? Aren't you going to invite us in? At this moment, Yin Xiao, who couldn't stand it anymore, spoke up. You guys can go in, but she can't. Ning Shan pointed at Yin Xian willfully. TSK. Even if you don't let me in, I don't care to enter. Yin Xian said disapprovingly. She had come here to look for Sister Ruoxue. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be willing to visit the Ning family just for the sake of this ninth young miss. You said it. Ning Shan was extremely pleased with herself. Then, she turned to Yi Chen and said gently, Brother Yi, let's go in. Since you don't allow Yin Xian to go in, then we won't go either. Yi Chen said coldly. Ah. Yi Dage, she said she wouldn't go in. Ning Shan was dumbfounded. She was extremely jealous. She never thought that Yin Xian would have such an important place in Yi Chen's heart. For Yin Xian, Brother Yi had embarrassed her so much. She could not accept this, and her hatred for Yin Xian deepened. Chapter 1620, I didn't peek, Master. 1, I didn't say that. Yin Xian said, not giving him any face. In fact, she knew very well that Yichen wasn't being very good to her. However, he hated Ning Shan more in comparison. Then let's go in together. Upon seeing this, Ning Shan could only compromise and grit her teeth. After all, she had gone through a lot of trouble to get Brother Yi to come here. She could not let him leave just like that. What a joke. Do you think this young lady is someone you can order around? Just because you say I'm not allowed to enter, I can't enter. Just because you let me in, I have to follow you in. Yin Xian said in a bad mood. What do you want? Ning Shan-er's anger was stuck in her chest, making her feel very uncomfortable. Let's hear you apologize first. Yin Xian said with a smile. You, Ning Shan-er's face flushed red in anger. What's wrong? Miss Ning isn't even willing to apologize. Yin Xian's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of ridicule as she said in a slightly provocative manner. I'm sorry. Ning Shan said as she suppressed her anger. She swore to herself that she would definitely teach Yin Xian a lesson in the future to avenge the humiliation she had suffered today. Forget it. I'm a magnanimous lady, so I won't argue with you. Yin Xian said magnanimously. Actually, she was not satisfied because Ning Shan-er's apology was not sincere at all. However, her brother kept giving her looks, telling her to stop while she was ahead. She could not disobey her brother's words. Seeing that Yin Xian had been dealt with, Ning Shan looked at Yechen with a charming smile and said gently, Brother Yi. We can go in together now, right? N. Yichen nodded and added, Miss Ning, I'll say it again. Please call me young Master Yi. Don't make me repeat myself. After he finished speaking, he did not care how ugly Ning Shan-er's expression was and walked straight into the Ning family's main residence. When Yin Xiao and the others saw this, they suppressed their laughter and quickly followed. Ning Shan, who was at the back, stomped her feet angrily and had no choice but to give chase. Great Yi, young Master Yi. The garden is over there. After Ning Shan caught up to Yi Chen and the rest, she almost called him Brother Yi again. When she received Yi Chen's cold gaze, her heart trembled and she quickly changed her words. With Ning Shan leading the way, they soon arrived at the garden. However, before they officially entered the banquet venue, Yi Chen saw a familiar figure from a distance. Instantly, his heart trembled and then started to beat wildly. Shuai. It was Shuai. It can't be wrong. Although it was only a back view, he knew very well that it was the Shuai he had been thinking about day and night. Shuai was indeed in the Ning family. That's great. He had finally found Shuai. However, who was the man beside Shuai? The joy and jealousy of finding Shuai rose up in his heart. Thanks at that moment, Ning Shan, who felt that something was wrong, followed Yi Chen's gaze and looked over. In an instant, the flames of anger in her heart burned. Damn it! Why are they here? Why didn't her brother bring Leng Ruoxue further away? She's my brother's concubine. Ning Shan, who felt that something was amiss, quickly said. What did you just say? Yi Chen narrowed his eyes. Did he hear wrong? This annoying woman in front of him actually said that his Shuai was that annoying man's concubine. This was preposterous. His Shuai could not be slandered like this. Young Master Yi. She is my brother's concubine. Because my brother doted on another woman, they're having a conflict. Let's just ignore them and go in. The banquet is about to end. Ning Shan urged, her heart burning with anxiety. She did not want Yi Chen to see Leng Ruoxue. What if Yi Chen was seduced by that vixen? In reality, the reason why she didn't want Leng Ruoxue to attend this banquet was precisely because of this consideration. That vixen was too beautiful, and she had no choice but to guard against her. She already had a headache with Xian. If Leng Ruoxue was added to the mix, she would definitely go crazy. So, after she couldn't get rid of Leng Ruoxue, she arranged for a man to accompany her. This way, if Yechen really had any thoughts about Leng Ruoxue, she could push it to her brother. Now it seemed like her foresight was really wise. She hadn't even seen that vixen's face yet. Yi Chen was actually interested in that vixen. When she thought of this, she suddenly burned with jealousy. No rush. Yi Chen smiled faintly and walked towards Leng Ruoxue's direction. Ning Shan saw this and quickly followed. At this time, Leng Ruoxue was being pestered by Ning Haojie. However, she still had to put on a smile on her face to deal with him. In her heart, she was thinking, I wonder if Grape and the others found any clues. They had hidden well, but who knew that Ning Haolan would actually find them and bring them to the celebration party? Then, they were stuck with this sticky candy. Helplessly, they could only split up. Grape and Lotus went to find out the reason for Ning Shan-er's abnormal behavior, while she stayed behind to deal with this annoying fellow. Ning Haojie's voice rang in Leng Ruoxue's ears. She could only feel a buzzing in her head. As for what Ning Haojie said, she could not remember a single word. Ruoxue. You're agreeing? Ning Haojie suddenly said excitedly. The way he addressed Leng Ruoxue had changed from Miss Leng to Ruoxue. What did he promise you? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was filled with question marks. Promise to come with me. Ning Haojie's face was full of excitement. He was so excited that he was stammering. With you? You're dreaming. A very unhappy voice interrupted their conversation, and then a fist went straight for Ning Haojie's handsome face. Bang! One of Ning Haojie's eyes turned black and swollen in an instant. Ning Haojie, who had taken a punch, was a little dazed and could not react in time. By the time he reacted and wanted to fight back, his other eye had also been punched. Instantly, he was dumbfounded, so much so that he was stunned on the spot. Yi Chen was satisfied when he saw the symmetrical dark circles on Ning Haojie's face. He stretched out his long arms and pulled Leng Ruoxue into his arms, hugging her tightly. Leng Ruoxue, who was suddenly hugged, was slightly stunned. She looked at the evildoer in front of her in disbelief. After a while, she finally confirmed that the person in front of her was the man she had missed for a long time. She quickly reached out and hugged the evildoer's waist tightly. Freak! Leng Ruoxue called out softly. Shua-er! I've finally found you. Yi Chen sighed and hugged her even tighter. At this moment, Ning Shan-er, who had already walked behind Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen, saw this scene and her heart burned with jealousy. She cursed in her heart, Damn vixen, how dare you hug my man? You must be tired of living. Leng Ruoxue. How can you be so indecent? You're already my brother's woman, yet you still dare to hug another man. Ning Shan-er roared in anger. Chapter 1621, I didn't peek, Master. 2. Leng Ruoxue, Yi Chen, Ning Haojie, and Yin Xiao were all stunned by her shout. What kind of situation was this? Yin Xiao and the rest looked at each other, not understanding what was going on. After Leng Ruoxue heard Ning Shan-er's words, she looked at her with a half-smile and said, Ninth young mistress, what did you say? Did she hear wrongly? You're already my brother's woman, yet you're still so shameless. You let go of young Master Yi. Ning Shan-er's heart was filled with jealousy. She wished she could pull Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen away from each other. When did I become your brother's woman? Leng Ruoxue squinted her beautiful eyes and replied indifferently, was she considered married? You still dare to deny it? Don't think that I don't know that you've already pledged to marry my brother. Ning Shan-er sneered. Humph. No one could snatch away the man that she had her eyes on. Even if she couldn't let Leng Ruoxue marry her brother, she had to ruin Leng Ruoxue's reputation first and make Yi Chen shrink back from Leng Ruoxue. We've privately pledged to be married. Leng Ruoxue did not look at Ning Shan-er and asked the dumbfounded Ning Haojie directly. Ning Haojie was so nervous that he couldn't speak. The man's eyes were so scary, and he gave him so much pressure. Although he had been punched twice, he didn't dare to have any thoughts of fighting back. The little bit he had before had been scared away. Big brother. What are you afraid of? Be brave and say it. Ning Shan kept winking at her brother, but unfortunately, Ning Haojie ignored her. What did he say? Another curious voice sounded in everyone's ears. Ning Haolan, Qing Xian, Grape, and Lotus Seed walked over together. When Grape and Lotus Seed saw their miss being held in the arms of a beautiful man, the anger in their hearts suddenly burst out. The two of them strode over to Yi Chen's side and shouted, "Damn lecher, let go of my young lady." "Your young miss," Yi Chen was calm and composed as he hugged her even tighter. Sister Ruoxua, Grapes, and Lotus Seeds. At this time, Yin Xian also came forward. "Miss Xian." "Young master." Grape and Lotus Seed were shocked. How could there be such a coincidence? "I actually met the young master here, Wu, what should I do?" Young master wouldn't bring them back to the Yin family, would he? The two of them were secretly guessing with fear in their hearts. Big brother Yin. Xian you guys are here too. When Len Ruoxua saw Yin Xiao and his sister, she could guess that they were together with the evildoer and had been to the Yin residence. Otherwise, Yin Xian would not have followed them. He. Sister Ruoxua, I've come here to settle the score with you. You're too mean. How could you run away on your own? No matter what, you have to bring me along. Yin Xian pouted her pink lips and complained. After Sister Ruoxua left the Yin residence became boring again. It was only until that terrifying man came to the door that the Yin residence was once again thrown into chaos. However, when they left, she also decisively followed them. "Ah. Xian that's your home." A few drops of cold sweat dripped from Len Ruoxia's forehead as she said speechlessly. After she finished speaking, she looked at the people around her and thought to herself, there seemed to be a lot of third wheels. So what? Didn't you still take away the grape and lotus seed? What's the matter with me? Yin Xian said, very dissatisfied. It's related. Without giving Len Ruoxua a chance to speak, Grape quickly said. It doesn't matter. Yin Xian looked at the grapes with envy and jealousy. Thanks, miss. You're a young lady of the Yin family's direct line, so you're different from us. Grape reminded. She and Lotus Seed were just maidservants, so even if they left, it would not affect the Yin family. However, it was different for Yin Xian. If Yin Xian left with them, the people from the Yin family would immediately come after them. You guys are despising me. Yin Xian's beautiful eyes were filled with tears as she said in an extremely aggrieved manner. Ah. Grape was shocked. She wiped the cold sweat on her forehead and helplessly thought to herself that she couldn't communicate with Miss Xian. All right. Xian I'd like to hear what young Master Ning Haojie has to say. Len Ruoxua said with a smile. Of course, she could tell that Yin Xian was pretending to be pitiful on purpose, so she changed the topic. Previously, because of the appearance of these third wheels, they had delayed their official business. Well, listen to it too. Ning Haolan said with a smile. I am going to the toilet. The extremely uneasy Ning Haojie said helplessly. After he finished speaking, he ran off and disappeared. Seeing this, Ning Shan was extremely angry. Ninth Miss Ning. Your brother went to relieve himself, so you should explain first. When did I secretly promise to marry your brother? How come I, the person involved, didn't know? Len Ruoxia's face was filled with bewilderment. When Ning Haolan and the others heard Len Ruoxia's words, they were shocked as well. Several pairs of eyes stared at Ning Shan waiting for her to explain. Len Ruoxua. Don't you dare deny it. When she saw that everyone was looking at her with anticipation, Ning Shan was furious and threatened her. I'm not denying it. I just want to know, when did I secretly promise to marry your brother? Why didn't I receive any notice about this? Len Ruoxua asked calmly. Her words made Qing Xian and the others burst out laughing. Young Master Yi. The celebration party is about to end, let's go in quickly. Ning Shan was unable to answer Leng Ruoxiu's question, so she could only change the topic. I don't want to go in. I just want to know, when did my woman secretly pledge to marry your brother? Yi Qin said coldly, and he emphasized the words my woman. Qing Xian and Ning Haolan were flabbergasted by his words. Grape and Lotus eyes widened in disbelief. Did something happen when they were not around? And these 4 words made Ning Shan go crazy. How could she be your woman? You've only just met each other. Young Master Yi. She's my brother's woman. How can you like her? Ning Shan was in extreme grief. Damn it, the thing she was most worried about had still happened. Why did this vixen keep pestering the man she liked? Did he have to snatch it from her? She was both angry and hateful. She even had the thought of swallowing Leng Ruoxiu whole. Furthermore, she was well aware that compared to Yin Xian, Leng Ruoxiu was a greater threat to her. Who said we just met? She's my wife. Yi Qin said coldly. Wife? No. This was impossible. How could you have a mid-level deity as a wife? She is not worthy of you. Ning Shan was unwilling to believe this fact. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. Ye Qin said disapprovingly. Miss Ning. Shui is really brother yes wife. Yin Xiao said with a smile. You lied to me. You guys are working together to lie to me. If Leng Ruoxiu is young master yes wife, then what about this woman? Ning Shan pointed at Yin Xian and said. Chapter 1622, I didn't peek, Master. 3, me? I don't have any relationship with young Master Yi. You misunderstood and insisted on treating me as a love rival. Yin Xian said with an innocent expression. Woo. Now, the truth was finally out, and her innocence had been cleared. One had to know that she had been the scapegoat for almost the entire journey. From the moment she had been pestered by this woman, she had been treated as an imaginary enemy. That terrifying man did not bother with Ning Shan and Ning Shan was not willing to listen to their words. Thus, this misunderstanding had followed them all the way. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You're lying to me. You guys are working together to lie to me. Ning Shan went into a state of madness as she shouted at the top of her lungs. After that, she turned around and ran away. What kind of person is this? Looking at Ning Shan's back, Yin Xian was speechless while Leng Ruoxiu and the evil demon ignored her. Great aunt. You're really his wife? Qing Xian, who had been watching the show for a long time, asked curiously. This news was too shocking, and he needed to digest it. Leng Ruoxiu nodded with a smile. Then does the Ning family's old forefather know about this? Qing Xian stuttered. Of course I know. Leng Ruoxiu said, amused. The little brat is here. At this moment, the first elder's voice rang out in everyone's ears. The masters of the Ning and Qing families naturally appeared with him. When Master Ning saw Yi Qin, he snorted coldly but didn't say anything. However, he was very unhappy because he didn't expect this evil man to come to his doors so quickly. His arrival meant that his good daughter was going to leave him. Although his good daughter had already planned to leave, this man's arrival had changed the nature of her departure. Who's this stinky brat? The head of the Qing family looked at the handsome man who was carrying Leng Ruoxiu and asked the first elder in a low voice. This fellow gave him a very dangerous feeling and also made him very unhappy. One had to know that Leng Ruoxiu was the candidate he had set his eyes on as his granddaughter-in-law. Now that a strong enemy had suddenly appeared, his good-for-nothing grandson didn't seem to be a match for this man. No way. He couldn't boost other people's morale and destroy the prestige of the grandson he liked. It was a great taboo for a militarist to cower before the battle. Shui's man. The great elder said happily. Although the old man of the Qing family didn't say it clearly, he always knew what this old man was thinking. What a pity. The young master of the Qing family had no chance. Previously, when Yi Chen's strength was low, Qing Xian might have been able to fight for it. But now, he suddenly realized that Yi Chen's strength had actually reached the level of a god king. In this case, Qing Xian had no chance at all. However, this was good. At least, he could make old man Qing completely give up. That little girl already has a man at such a young age. How could she decide to spend her life with him so early? You should be more picky. The head of the Qing clan was very dissatisfied with this, but it was impossible for him to give up so easily. What's there to pick? Yechen's not bad. He's loyal to Shuai and obedient. Where can you find a man like him? The first elder said in disagreement. You old thing, are you deliberately going against me? The patriarch of the Qing clan was a little angry when he saw the first elder trying to undermine him. Old Qing. I advise you to be more honest. These two little guys aren't easy to deal with. Besides, your family's Qing Xian might not like that Shuai girl, so why are you blindly following along? The first elder advised helplessly. How do you know? I didn't say that. The patriarch of the Qing family was about to get angry, but he couldn't help but ask after hearing the first elder's words. It's written all over your face. Every time you see Shuai, it's like you're looking at a crystal mine. Who can't tell? The great elder rolled his eyes at the head of the Qing clan. Ah! Is it that obvious? The head of the Qing family muttered in a low voice. There must be. The first elder smirked and walked up to Yi Chen, sizing him up. Thanks, he's really a monster. I really don't know how you cultivate. The great elder was envious, jealous, and hateful. I was just lucky. Yi Chen was very humble, but his eyes drifted to Master Ning, and the two stared at each other affectionately. The master of the Ning family received Yi Chen's gaze and secretly hated it. Damn it, this brat actually provoked him. All right. He had to admit that he did not tell Shuai on purpose that this brat had also come to the divine realm. From what he had heard from the master of the Yin family that someone had robbed the old man of the Yin family, he knew that this stinky brat had come to the divinity, and his purpose in coming to the divinity was definitely to find Shuai. However, in order to let his precious goddaughter stay for a few more days, he concealed the news that this demon had come to the divine world. Anyway, this demon would come to find him sooner or later, so it didn't make much sense to tell him or not. Therefore, he kept this news a secret with a peace of mind. Until today, this demon had finally entered the inner chamber. Moreover, looking at this brat's appearance, he seemed to be very dissatisfied with her. But it didn't matter. With Shuai around, he wasn't afraid. Shuai would protect him. The master of the Ning family thought happily. Then, he ordered people to arrange accommodation for Yin Xiao and the rest. As for that demon, he would definitely stay with Shuai. Leng Ruoxue brought the demon back to their residence in the Forbidden Grounds. After bringing the evildoer back to his room, the two of them went straight into the Bangle's purple bamboo house. Meanwhile, Grape and the others sat in the courtyard in a daze. At this moment, they were still a little dizzy. In the purple bamboo house, the demon hugged Leng Ruoxue tightly and did not let go. Mou, who was in his beast pet space, could not help but fly out. He did not want to be a third wheel. If he heard or saw anything that he should not hear or see, his master would not let him off. Therefore, for the sake of its own life, it was better to be sensible. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes widened as she watched the black dots of light fly out of the demon's body. She asked, "What's that?" "My beastie." "Don't bother about it." The demon chuckled. "Your beastie?" Leng Ruoxue had a suspicious look on her face. "Yup. Didn't I tell you that I have beastie? You can summon it now." The demon explained. "Oh. Oh right, when did you come to the god world? And how did your abilities?" Leng Ruoxue sized up the demon, and the questions on her face increased. After you were captured by that old man from the Yin clan, I had Yin Shao bring me to the divine world. However, when we arrived at the Yin clan, you had already left. I gave the Yin clan a good beating before chasing after you. I didn't know where you went, and it just so happened that the blacksmith guild was closer to me, so I went there first. I only saw Lu Feng, and after knowing that you didn't go to look for them, I came to the Ning clan's divine realm. Fortunately, I found you here. The demon explained. Then, your power, Leng Ruoxue was very curious. She had not seen the demon for a few months, so how did he become a god king all of a sudden? This was truly unbelievable. Chapter 1623, Little Doll, You're Too Rough. 1. I've been looking for you and cultivating all the way. I've just broken through to the God King realm yesterday. The demon laughed. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Even though the evildoer had said it so casually, she knew very well that the evildoer was hiding a secret from her. If he didn't want to tell her now, it probably wasn't the right time yet. Hence, she wasn't in a hurry to ask. However, after seeing the evildoer's strength, she felt a little inferior. No wonder Ning Shan would say that she wasn't good enough for him and even arranged a man for her. Schwa. The more powerful I am, the less men will have designs on you. Seeing through Leng Ruoxue's thoughts, the evildoer consoled her. Then you'll have to protect me well. Leng Ruoxue chuckled as she leaned into the evildoer's embrace. Don't worry. Unless I'm dead, no man can take you away from me. The demon's aura suddenly changed as he spoke with confidence. What's with that Ning Shaner? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes stared at the evildoer as she asked with a hint of dissatisfaction. Ning Shaner had made so many arrangements and even poured dirty water on her. All of this was for the sake of this evildoer in front of her. So, she had to ask clearly, who asked her to be so petty? I don't know. I met her on the way to the Ning family's divine realm. She has been bothering us since then. However, I spent most of my time cultivating. Yin Shao and the others dealt with her. If you want to know the details, you can ask them tomorrow. The demon suggested. He's obviously interested in you. Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at him. So what? I'm not interested in her. The demon said with a look of disdain. Ha ha ha. Of course I know that. Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly and continued, speaking of which, I've made a lot of arrangements for you today. What? The demon was puzzled. Looking at the demon's face full of question marks, Leng Ruoxue felt a little amused and explained the situation to him. I think she's afraid that you'll fall for me, so she got me a man. This is the first time I'm seeing her brother. Leng Ruoxue explained with a smile. That woman told me that you were her brother's concubine. The demon said sternly, his face faintly carrying anger. Humph. It was unforgivable for him to have designs on his woman. Ah. I've become someone else's concubine. Leng Ruoxue was flabbergasted. I won't let that stinky man off. Since you dare to covet my woman, you should be prepared for my revenge. A cold light flashed in the devilish black eyes. They're just unlucky to have provoked us. Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly. Schwa. I missed you so much. The demon nodded and said pitifully. I missed you too. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes stared unblinkingly at the evildoer. Her pair of jade-like hands quietly crept up the evildoer's face. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. This man was truly a source of calamity. How could he be so handsome? Although the word devastatingly beautiful was used to describe a woman, it was not an exaggeration to describe her as a demon. And his skin was so smooth and tender that even women would be jealous of it. It felt really good. She couldn't bear to let go of the devilish tender tofu. Schwa. The devilish eyes were smiling with a hint of adoration. He slowly lowered his head and kissed Schwaer's alluring red lips. Oh! A satisfied moan spilled out from his devilish lips. Schwer is so sweet. The long-lost sweetness made him so excited that his body was trembling a little. Thanks, his arms subconsciously hugged Schwer tightly. He wished he could rub Schwer into his body, and then he deepened the kiss. At this moment Mou, who was flying around outside the purple bamboo house, felt the sweet atmosphere coming from the purple bamboo house. He, who was spiritually connected with his master, blushed and quickly covered his eyes with his small wings. Master! I didn't peek. I used my heart to sense it. Mou muttered to himself. It had been sealed by its master for too long. It had not been long since it came out and it had already sensed such a stimulating scene that was not suitable for children. This was really killing the bird. Rare and strange. Suddenly, a disdainful voice entered Mou's ears. Mou raised his head and looked around with his bird eyes wide open, but he could not find the person who had spoken. Idiot! Look below. The one who spoke was Green Vessel. There's a little kid. Mou said as if he had discovered a new continent. He flew down from the sky and landed on Qingju's shoulder. Although it was in its mimicry form, it still took up a lot of space on Green Vessel's shoulder. Idiot! Qingju rolled his eyes, showing serious doubts about this bird's intelligence. Little baby. Didn't your mother teach you not to be so rude? Mou said patiently. This was his mistress' territory, so this little baby must have some relationship with her. So, for the sake of her, he had to treat this baby better. Humph. If anyone else dared to call it an idiot, it would definitely teach that person a good lesson. I don't have a mother. Qingju was really defeated by this stupid bird. No mother. You're so pitiful. Don't worry, I'll love you well in the future. The child. Come. Let Big Brother hug you. When Mou heard Qingju's words, his heart was filled with motherly love. He flew in front of Qingju, spread his little wings, and wanted to hug him. Seeing this, Green Vessel's forehead was filled with black lines. Following that, Mou pounced into Qingju's arms. Her two wings gently wrapped around his neck, and she hugged him. Good child. Big Brother will dote on you. Follow Big Brother and you'll have meat to eat. Mou lifted one of his wings and gently stroked Qingju's head. When Qingju saw Mou's actions, he was so angry that he was about to go crazy. However, he kept telling himself to calm down. He had to stay calm. It was beneath his dignity to argue with a bird without intelligence, so he had to endure it. After taking a few deep breaths, Qingju finally could not take it anymore and shouted, Damn bird! Don't you recognize me? Mou blinked his bright black eyes and looked at the little child in front of him with a confused expression. After a long while, he could not help but ask, Little kid, should I know you? What do you think? Qingju said as he suppressed his anger. If it wasn't for the fact that he was so small, he would have given this stupid bird a good beating first. It shouldn't be. How could I possibly know a little kid like you? Mou mumbled and kept scratching his little head with his little wings. Take a deep breath. Qingju took a few deep breaths before he managed to calm himself down. He glared at Mou and grabbed his wings, throwing him away. Fuck. He had to force this little boy to swear. Qingju was filled with hatred. However, very quickly, Mou, who had been thrown out by Qingju, flew back. He even had an aggrieved and resentful expression as he peeked at Qingju. Little doll. You're too rough, how can you treat my cute little beast so roughly? Mou was very dissatisfied. However, this little doll belonged to the mistress and he could not afford to offend her. Woo! It was really too pitiful. Who asked it to have a henpecked master? Chapter 1624, Little Doll, You're too rough, too rough? Rough? Fuck. I'll let you see what true rudeness and rudeness are. Qingju was furious, and the consequences were very serious. Qingju quickly pulled Mou into his arms. His pair of white and chubby little hands kept moving up and down. In an instant, black feathers flew all over the sky, and Mou's screams rang out at the same time. Arg! My feathers! You're a bad guy. Compensate me for my feathers. Oh woo! It hurts. Master, save me. Mou cried out in pain, and the little thing struggled in Qingju's arms. However, Qingju held it tightly. No matter how it struggled, it could not escape from Qingju's grasp. Qingju only stopped after he was tired from plucking the feathers. He looked at the half-bald little black phoenix and felt extremely pleased with himself. Damn bird. You don't recognize me. Damn bird. Who asked you to call me rough and rough? Qingju was limping while Mou looked at Qingju with a pitiful expression. Woo. What did it say? What did he do? Why was it treated so roughly? Mou felt extremely aggrieved in his heart. When had he ever received such treatment? However, it couldn't take revenge on this little baby yet. Who asked him to be under the protection of his mistress? If it really took care of this little baby, its mistress would definitely be unhappy, and once its mistress was unhappy, its master would be unhappy as well. If its master was unhappy, it would be the one in trouble, so it could only endure this loss. It was just that its beautiful feathers were pitiful. Mou was secretly sad and determined to stay far away from this little boy to avoid being plucked for no reason. Rude? Is it rough? Qingju looked at the little black phoenix, whose eyes were filled with tears, and said with a smile. No. No. You are very kind. Mou quickly said after hearing Qingju's words. Really? I want to hear the truth. Qingju deliberately put on a stern face, clearly not satisfied with Mou's words. I'm telling the truth. Mou lowered his head and said with a tearless face. In that case, I'll pluck some more phoenix feathers. I'll keep it for big sister to use in forging. Qingju said impolitely. No. Don't pull any more. I'm in the wrong, alright? You're a little devil. Mou said with a face full of fear, his small body trembling. Who asked you not to recognize me? You stupid bird. Qingju said in a domineering manner. Can't I recognize you? You're really too unreasonable. Mou's face was full of resentment, and he was extremely depressed. What kind of person was this? If he didn't recognize it, he would pluck its hair. Did he think that she would recognize him after plucking his hair? Wait a minute. In the depths of its memory, there seemed to be someone who had done the same thing, but it had been too long and it could not remember. Woo, who was that? I'm being unreasonable, so bite me. Qingju said in an infuriating manner. Fine. You're the boss. I can't afford to offend you, so I'll just hide. Mou lowered his head and said helplessly. It couldn't be helped. This little boy's background was too strong. It had no choice but to swallow its anger. If you hide, who am I going to play with? Qingju was extremely dissatisfied with Mou's suggestion. Great-grandma. Then what do you want me to do? What do you say, old Ming? Mou was helpless. He couldn't even handle a little baby. He found himself a failure. Hee hee. Qingju laughed evilly and whispered a few words into Mou's ear. Immediately, Mou's eyes widened and he looked at Qingju in horror. What are you in a daze for? Quickly do this well, don't you like to do bad things? Qingju said calmly. Ah. How do you know that I like to do bad things? Mou was very embarrassed. Could it be that even a little kid had heard of its name? This shouldn't be the case, right? If you don't want people to know, then don't do it. Even though you don't remember me, I still recognize you. Qingju said as he shook his head. Thanks, you really know me. Mou's eyes widened in disbelief. Even a little boy from the divine realm knew its name. Nonsense. I'll recognize you even if you turn into ashes. Qing Ju said unhappily. But I really don't remember you. Mou was very embarrassed. I can tell that you're a heartless fellow. Qing Ju complained. Ah. I'm going to attend to official matters. Qing Ju's resentful gaze made Mou feel guilty. He did not dare to stay in front of Qing Ju any longer, so he quickly flapped his wings and flew away. Not long after, Mou flew back. That little kid. I didn't fly out. Mou said gloomily. I'll send you out. Qing Ju said as he held back his laughter. Then, he had an idea and sent Mou out of the bracelet. Mou left the bracelet and flew out of the forbidden area. It followed Qing Ju's arrangement and found Ning Haoji's courtyard first. Then, it used a secret technique to fly into Ning Haoji's room. At this time, Ning Haojie was sleeping soundly on the bed. Mou looked at Ning Haojie in disgust and cursed in his heart, damn it, how dare he have ideas about his mistress, he must be tired of living. Thinking of this, Mou flew around Ning Haojie a few times. Suddenly, countless light spots fell from its body. After the light spots fell on Ning Haojie, they all disappeared into his body. Then, Mou flapped his wings and flew away. After that, it found Ning Shan-er's residence and did the same thing. However, it hated Ning Shan-er even more than Ning Haojie. Therefore, after doing all this, it did not leave immediately. Instead, it carried Ning Shan-er to the toilet in her courtyard and threw her in. After a long time, Mou had returned after completing his mission. The next day, Leng Ruoxue and the demon had just left the room when they saw Grape and Lotus Seed guarding the door with a smirk on their faces. Miss. When Grape and Lotus Seed saw Leng Ruoxue, they quickly came forward to greet her. What's the happy thing? Leng Ruoxue saw the smiles on Grape and Lotus Seed's faces and asked curiously. Miss. When Ning Shan-er went to the toilet last night, she fell into the toilet pit. This is really karma. Grape said with a smile. There's such a thing. Leng Ruoxue was in disbelief. Miss. It was true. I heard that Ning Shan-er drank too much yesterday, so she accidentally fell into the toilet when she went to the toilet. Grape explained. Did you drink too much? Leng Ruoxue still couldn't believe it completely. She didn't think that Ning Shan-er would drown her sorrows in alcohol. However, if it wasn't because of her, then it could only be revenge. A lot of people said that. Whether it's true or not, only Ning Shan-er herself knows. Grape said with a chuckle. Whether it's true or not, it has nothing to do with us. I'll go see Godfather in a while. Well, leave tomorrow. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. At this moment, she saw the guards of the forbidden area enter the courtyard. Chapter 1625, Little Doll, You're Too Rough, 3, Miss Leng. The acting patriarch invites you in. The guard said respectfully. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue was a little puzzled. Why would Ning Yuan invite her for no reason? This subordinate does not know the specific situation, but the person sent by the acting patriarch said that he has something important to discuss. The guard reported. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded and glanced at the evildoer. Following that, they followed the guard to the Ning family's meeting hall. The moment she entered the meeting hall, Leng Ruoxue heard the sounds of an argument coming from inside. She exchanged a look with the demon and they both walked in. The people in the meeting hall, who were arguing until their faces were red, quickly shut up when they saw the two of them. Why aren't you arguing? You guys continue. Don't mind me. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Then, she pulled the evildoer to an empty seat. Miss Leng, you've come. When Ning Yuan saw Leng Ruoxue, he stood up and greeted her. There's no need to be so polite, substitute clan head. You guys can continue. Leng Ruoxue urged. Miss Leng. We invited you here because we have something to ask you. Ning Yuan sighed and said helplessly. If you have something to say, just say it. I don't like to beat around the bush. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Ning Yuan nodded and continued, Miss Leng. It's like this, something happened last night. Are you referring to the incident of the 9th young lady falling into the latrine pit? Leng Ruoxue interrupted Ning Shuangyuan before he could finish his sentence. It is. Ning Yuan nodded. I've heard about this from the maidservant this morning. She said that 9th young mistress drank too much last night and spilled it. That's why she accidentally fell down. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. Miss Leng. That's just the guess of our clansmen. According to our investigation, the truth is not so. Shan was probably thrown down on purpose. Ning Yuan said with a slight headache. This matter was giving him a headache. There's such a thing. Who would have such a huge grudge against the 9th young mistress? He actually threw the 9th young mistress into the latrine pit. Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of sympathy, but she couldn't help but snicker in her heart. This person was really too creative, and his style was very similar to hers. Humph. Miss Leng. Stop pretending. Other than you, who else would have such a huge grudge against Shan? The 19th elder said in a strange tone. What do you mean, 19th elder? Could it be that you think him the one who did it? Leng Ruoxue said with a smile that was not a smile. This 19th elder really liked to find trouble with her. Whenever there was anything that involved her, this old man would definitely jump out. She really didn't know when she had offended him. I didn't say you did it. What I meant was that you're the most suspicious. The 19th elder narrowed his eyes and sneered. Where does my suspicion come from? Leng Ruoxue retorted. Of course it's because of the man beside you. The 19th elder pointed at the demon. Thanks, him. What does it have to do with him? Leng Ruoxue's face was filled with question marks. He's Shan-er's lover. You and Shan-er are rivals in love. You've already snatched this man from Shan-er's hands, yet you still dare to harm her. You're really cruel. 19th elder said disappointedly, as if Leng Ruoxue had done something that would anger the heavens. After hearing 19th elder's words, Leng Ruoxue was dumbfounded and speechless. Did this 19th elder also have a delusional disorder? Otherwise, why would she have such an idea? This really made her speechless. May I ask this elder, who told you that Shuer snatched me from Ning Shan? The demon sneered and asked. Isn't it? Did Shan bring you into the Ning family's main residence? The 19th elder asked. It was really Ning Shan who brought me in. The evildoer replied honestly. Isn't this good? You knew Shan first, and you met Leng Ruoxue when you came to the Ning family's main residence. So, you abandoned Shan and hooked up with Leng Ruoxue. The 19th elder concluded. This elder's imagination is really rich. To tell you the truth, Shuer is my wife, and I came to the Ning family to find her. Your family's old ancestor knows this very well. If any of the elders have any questions, you can go ask your family's old ancestor. The demon had run out of patience. If this old man kept harping on this matter, he couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't beat this damn old man up. Well, naturally go to old grandmadam to verify it. However, if the matter is really as you say, then Leng Ruoxue is even more suspicious. The 19th elder said stubbornly. So you're saying that you plan to blame this on Shuer? The demon squinted his eyes and said coldly. He could tell that the old man's words were just an excuse. He or they had already planned to let Shuer take the blame. However, if they wanted to frame Shuer, they would have to ask for his permission first. She's the biggest suspect. Shan also said that other than Leng Ruoxue, she didn't have any conflicts with anyone else. 19th elder insisted. In fact, he had spared no effort to push the blame to Leng Ruoxue only because he wanted to please Ning Shan. Miss Leng. Shan said, you did this. Do you have anything to say? Ning Yuan interjected. He could not allow the 19th elder to continue spouting nonsense. Otherwise, if the old ancestor found out about this matter and blamed them, they would all be in serious trouble. What do you think, acting patriarch? If you think I did it, then just show me the evidence. Don't make wild guesses about me just because of someone else's one-sided words. You'll regret it if you annoy me. Leng Ruoxue warned. She really didn't know what the Nings were thinking. Did they think she was easy to bully just because she wasn't part of the Nings? In fact, their suspicion of her would only make Godfather even angrier. Or did they think that they could bully her without any scruples just because they were Godfather's descendants? Humph. Of course, we'll show you the evidence. The 19th elder snorted coldly. Not good. Miss Shan is in trouble. Suddenly, the guard's anxious voice sounded outside the meeting hall. What happened again? Ning Yuan's heart sank, and he quickly asked, why couldn't this Ning Shan just calm down for a while? Acting clan head, elder. You'll know when you see it. The guard didn't dare to say. Let's go out and take a look. Ning Yuan sighed and said helplessly. The elders nodded and left the meeting hall together. Leng Ruoxue and the demon also followed after them. They followed the stream of people and walked towards Ning Shan Heir's residence. Before they even reached the entrance, they saw that Ning Shan Heir's residence was already filled with clansmen. After seeing the substitute family master and the elders, the clan members who were watching the show quickly made way for them. Ning Yuan and the others walked into the courtyard directly. At this moment, in the courtyard, Ning Shan was singing and dancing madly naked. Her clothes were scattered all over the ground. When Ning Yuan and the others saw this scene, their faces immediately darkened. Chapter 1626, Little Doll, You're Too Rough. 4. What are you guys doing? Hurry up and get Miss Shan into the house. Looking at the stunned maidservants, Ning Yuan roared angrily, damn it. Was Ning Shan crazy? How could she do such an immoral thing? If this got out, wouldn't the Ning family's face be completely lost by her? Acting clan head. Miss doesn't let us get close to her. As long as we get close, she'll hit us. We're no match for her. A pale-faced maidservant trembled as she spoke. What about you guys? Are you all dead? You don't even know how to help. Ning Yuan pointed at the guards and scolded. Acting clan head. We don't dare to touch Miss Shan's precious body. One of the guards replied. Don't dare to touch it? Then are you just going to stand by and watch? Ning Yuan couldn't help but complain. What was more infuriating was that the entire family seemed to know about it now, and they all came to watch the show. How preposterous. Don't just stand there. Quickly knock Ning Shan out. The third elder couldn't take it anymore and roared. Yes. Yes, the captain replied. Immediately after, a green light flew out of his hand and hit Ning Shan neck. Ning Shan fell to the ground softly. When the maidservant saw this, she quickly covered her body with clothes and carried Ning Shan back to her room. At this time, the crowd outside the courtyard who had come to watch the show quietly dispersed. Acting clan head, elder. Something happened to Ning Haojie too. At this time, another cry of surprise came into everyone's ears. After Ning Yuan heard this, cold sweat dripped down his forehead. What's wrong with Ning Haojie? Ning Yuan roared angrily. He couldn't help but complain in his heart. This brother and sister were both troublesome. If they kept provoking him like this, he would definitely die young. He's the same as Miss Shan. The guard who came to report whispered in fear. What? Did you knock him out? Ning Yuan asked hurriedly. At this moment, he felt like banging his head against a wall. Acting clan head. We won't be able to get close to Ning Haojie. The moment we get close, he'll attack us. The guard explained. After hearing the guard's words, Ning Yuan hurriedly ran to Ning Haojie's residence with the elders. Leng Ruoxue and the demon followed behind to watch the show. When they arrived at Ning Haoji's courtyard, everyone saw that Ning Haojie was just like Ning Shan. He was completely naked and jumping around in the courtyard while mumbling something. Seeing this, Ning Yuan and third elder worked together to subdue Ning Haojie and ordered people to send him back to his room. After that, the extremely depressed group returned to the meeting hall. Sitting on the chairs in the meeting hall, Ning Yuan and the other elders did not say a word, while Lin Ruoxue and the demons slowly sipped their tea and ate their desserts. They were very relaxed and casual. After a long while. Elders, what do you think about Ning Shan and Ning Haojie? Ning Yuan asked. Acting clan head. This matter is very suspicious. I'm guessing that someone must have set them up. The 19th elder said. As he spoke, his eyes were fixed on Lin Ruoxue. Then who do you think is the most suspicious, 19th elder? The third elder asked. He. This person is far away, but right in front of us. 19th elder had a hidden meaning behind his words. However, Lin Ruoxue didn't even look at him when he said that. She completely ignored him. 19th elder. There must be evidence for everything, and it's better not to talk nonsense without evidence. The third elder reminded. He knew who the 19th elder was referring to. However, he was not too willing to drag Lin Ruoxue into this matter. Regardless of whether Lin Ruoxue was the one behind this, they would not be in a good position. If the old ancestor were to blame them, they would all be in trouble. Third elder, why have you become so timid? 19th elder had a look of disdain on his face. 19th elder, I only believe in evidence. Unless you can find evidence to prove that this was done by Miss Leng, you will not be able to convince us. The third elder said in a calm manner. I will find evidence. The 19th elder said, his eyes wide. Then we'll wait for your good news. The third elder said with a faint smile. Thanks, good. Miss Leng. Since you don't want to admit that you're the one who did it, please show us your evidence. 19th elder pointed his finger at Lin Ruoxue. What evidence do I have? Lin Ruoxue was bewildered when she heard 19th elder's words. Of course it's to show evidence that you didn't do it. The 19th elder sneered. 19th elder. I don't have any evidence, and I won't take out any evidence to prove my innocence. Besides, I'll only say it once, I didn't do it. Believe it or not. However, if you have evidence to convict me, then take it out. If you can't find any evidence, then just wait to compensate me for my losses. I can't be wrongly accused for no reason. Lin Ruoxue's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of coldness as she sneered. You don't have any evidence to prove your innocence, yet you're still so arrogant. This was preposterous. You all saw it. She's the biggest suspect. The 19th elder was so angry that he blew his beard and glared. I don't need any evidence. If you guys think that you can convict me based on Ning Shan-er's one-sided words, you're thinking too simply. Anyway, I'm not stupid, unless your brains are broken. Lin Ruoxue said venomously. Ha ha ha. Their brains must be damaged. Qing Xian's voice rang out in the meeting hall. Then, he and Ning Haolan strode in from outside. Is this a family meeting? Why didn't anyone inform me, the young master? Ning Haolan said coldly, his tone carrying a hint of hostility. This is not an important meeting, so I didn't inform young master. The 19th elder explained. Is that so? Ning Haolan sneered. Of course. The 19th elder said with a smile. Since it's not an important meeting, it's fine for me to sit in, right? After Qing Xian finished speaking, he found a seat and sat down. Young Master Cheng. This is our Ning family's matter, it's inconvenient for an outsider like you to be here, please leave. The 19th elder said with some displeasure. He's also an outsider, right? If he can be here, why can't I be here? Qing Xian pointed at the evildoer and asked with a faint smile. Young Master Yi, please leave as well. The 19th elder said helplessly. The reason he didn't ask Yi Chen to leave was because he had something to do with this matter. However, in order to get rid of Qing Xian, the devilish man couldn't stay here. However, the demon didn't even lift his eyelids after hearing his words and continued to do what he was doing. Seeing this, the 19th elder could not help but be angry, while Qing Xian secretly laughed. 19th elder, to be honest, it was your ancestor who asked me to listen in. He was afraid that you would wrong a good person. Qing Xian tried to hold back his laughter. Really? The 19th elder's heart trembled. A bad feeling rose in his heart, and he stole a glance at Ning Haolan. Seeing that the 19th elder did not believe him, Qing Xian turned to look at Ning Haolan. It was the old ancestor who asked him to come. The old ancestor already knows about Ning Shan. Ning Haolan said softly. It's finished. At Ning Haolan's words, 19th elder broke out in cold sweat. He had thought that the old master would not find out about such a small matter so quickly. According to his original plan, he would report this matter to the old ancestor after he had found enough evidence. Even if the old ancestor was biased towards Leng Ruoxue, he would have to consider the feelings of the clan members. However, things didn't go the way he had hoped, which made him extremely depressed. Since young Master Ning and young Master Qing are here, I'll say this one last time. Ning Shan matter has nothing to do with me. If you don't believe me, you can show me the evidence. As long as the evidence is conclusive, I won't deny it. However, don't even think about accusing me without evidence. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue surveyed the crowd and spoke emotionlessly. After she finished speaking, she pulled the evildoer along as they stood up and left the meeting hall. After that, Leng Ruoxue and the demon went to find her godfather and told him that they planned to return to the divine mainland the next day. Even though Master Ning was extremely reluctant, he didn't force her to stay. He only told Leng Ruoxue to cultivate with all her might so that she could reach the divine world as soon as possible. The next morning, after Leng Ruoxue, the demon, Grape, and the rest had their breakfast, they went to bid farewell to Master Ning and the rest, preparing to leave. Before he left, the master of the Ning family pointed to the elders beside him and said, "Shuer lass, take these elders with you and help me train them properly." Ah! Master Ning's words made Leng Ruoxue's forehead fill with black lines. Furthermore, looking at those unwilling elders, she was also very unwilling to take on this pile of trouble. Chapter 1627, Shuer is mine, 1, Godfather. They're the elders of the Ning family. How can they leave with me? Leng Ruoxue could not help but remind him. What's wrong with the elder? It's precisely because they're not making any progress that I want you to help me train them properly. The master of the Ning family said disapprovingly. Godfather. They won't listen to me. Leng Ruoxue understood. These elders had always been pampered in the Ning family, so how could they listen to an outsider like her? Moreover, if she really brought them to the divine mainland, without her godfather's control, who knew what they would do? She didn't want to clean up their mess for no reason. Shuer. They won't dare to disobey you. I'll let Ning Shan stay by your side and report to me about their current situation. If any of them disobey, I won't let them off. The master of the Ning family said with a smile. He had thought of all kinds of situations, but he was afraid that Shuer would refuse. Moreover, he had arranged it so carefully that Shuer would not be able to say anything now. After hearing Master Ning's words, Leng Ruoxue and the evildoer looked at each other with a hint of helplessness in their eyes. They could tell that if they did not take these people away, their godfather would not let this matter rest. However, Leng Ruoxue was extremely unwilling to take them away. Even though Leng Ruoxue was a little reluctant, the elders who were about to leave with her were even more resentful. Yesterday, because of the incident with Ning Shan and her brother, they had already been called over by the old ancestor to be reprimanded. Furthermore, Ning Shan and her brother had been grounded because of this. They had also been sent to the godly mainland by the old ancestor. As long as they thought of having to listen to Leng Ruoxia's orders for a period of time in the future, the depression in their hearts could not be described with words. However, they had no choice but to go. Who asked them to not dare to go against the words of their ancestor? Master Ning, what you mean is that these elders will listen to us and do whatever we ask them to do? The demon asked. Of course. The master of the Ning family nodded. That's good. Shuer, since this is Master Ning's will, then let's take them with us. The demon laughed. Leng Ruoxia nodded. Even though she was unwilling, she had to give her godfather some face. Hee hee. Great aunt. I want to go to the godly continent with you. Qing Xian, who was standing in the crowd, also said at this time. What are you doing? Leng Ruoxia said with a slight headache. She was already depressed enough with these elders, and she didn't want to bring this young master of the Qing family along. Go play. At the same time, it'll help the Ning family's ancestor to monitor these elders. If they're disobedient, it'll report to the Ning family's ancestor at any time. Qing Xian said proudly. However, his words made the unlucky elders angry, but they did not dare to speak out. They could only curse Qing Xian in their hearts. Ning Shan will be supervising them. Leng Ruoxia said without giving him any face. After all, Ning Shan is just one person. He can't handle these elders on his own. Qing Xian said shamelessly. Shuer. Young Master Cheng, if you want to go, bring him along. The demon chuckled as he pleaded. All right then. Leng Ruoxia agreed. Even though she did not know why the evildoer was pleading for Qing Xian, she would not reject such a small request. Shuer. I want to go with you. Thanks, Sister Ruoxia, there's still me. Ning Yan and Yin Xian said in unison when they saw this. Big Sister Yan, Xian I'll be going into closed-door cultivation after I return to the Divine Continent, so I don't have time to take care of you. You'd better stay in the Divine Realm. Leng Ruoxia said honestly. Shuer. You're biased. Even Qing Xian can go, so why can't we? Ning Yan said in an extremely aggrieved tone, her beautiful eyes still glaring at Qing Xian. That's right. Yin Xian also glared at Qing Xian with envy, jealousy, and hatred. He's a man. I can ignore him after we get there, but you can't. Leng Ruoxia sighed. Shuer is right. All of you stay in the Divine Realm obediently, don't go and cause trouble for Shuer. The master of the Ning family said firmly. With Master Ning's words, Ning Yan and Yin Xian didn't dare to follow him even if they wanted to. At this moment, Leng Ruoxia saw Ning Shan walking towards them from the corner of her eyes. There were 2 guards behind him, carrying a single rack with a person lying on it. It was the 19th elder of the Ning family. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxia could not help but frown. Patriarch, Elder 19 is here. Ning Shan reported to the head of the Ning family. Master Ning nodded in satisfaction. Then, he reminded Leng Ruoxia, Shuer, this 19th elder may be sick, but it doesn't affect the journey. You just have to bring him along. You don't have to give him any special care along the way. He has rough skin and thick flesh. He won't die even if he suffers a little. So the 19th elder is sick? Leng Ruoxia asked in surprise. Yesterday, this 19th elder was still shouting and yelling at her in the meeting hall. How did he become so sick in just one night? On the stretcher, 19th elder's face was as pale as a sheet of paper. He looked extremely haggard and his eyes were closed. He lay on the stretcher listlessly without moving. However, his eyes kept darting back and forth, indicating that he was still conscious. Leng Ruoxia immediately understood what was going on. Yup. He's been like this since I told him to go to the godly land with you. I guess he's just too excited. It's not a big deal. The master of the Ning family said disapprovingly. Godfather. The 19th elder is currently sick, and I really don't dare to take over. Otherwise, if something happens to him on the way, I can't afford to take the responsibility. Leng Ruoxue said, feeling troubled. However, her words made 19th elder, who was lying on the stretcher pretending to be asleep, so angry that he almost vomited blood. He's not dead yet. This wretched girl had actually started to curse him, how preposterous. However, since things had come to this, he had no other choice but to continue pretending to be sick. It doesn't matter. It's just an elder. Our Ning family has no lack of elders. If he really lives so short, I've already thought of a successor to his position. Don't worry. Master Ning consoled her. His words were like a calming pill for Leng Ruoxue. However, when 19th elder heard it, he was so angry that he could not catch his breath and passed out. When the other elders heard this, they all wiped the cold sweat off their foreheads in unison and thought to themselves, that was close. Fortunately, they didn't feign illness like the 19th elder. Otherwise, if they angered the patriarch, they would have to bear the consequences. It seemed that the 19th elder's future was worrying. With Godfather's words, I can rest assured. Leng Ruoxue said indifferently, but she was already laughing inside. Poor 19th elder. I wonder if he can still pretend to be sick after hearing what Godfather said. But why is he not reacting? Chapter 1628, Shuai is mine, too. At the thought of this, Leng Ruoxue lifted her beautiful eyes to look at 19th elder on the stretcher. She realized that 19th elder's breathing was weak, and his eyes were not moving around. It seemed like he had really fainted. Wasn't this self-defeating? She laughed gloatingly in her heart and exchanged a few more pleasantries with Godfather and the rest. Then, Leng Ruoxue and the rest got on second elder's flying beast and flew towards the teleportation array to the godly mainland. The teleportation array from the Ning family's god domain to the divine continent took a week to fly. This was because the second elder's flying beast was fast enough. Otherwise, it would have taken at least 20 days to reach the teleportation array. Along the way, they chose to fly in places with no one. As a result, they had to camp in the wild at night. For the Ning family's noble and pampered elders, it was undoubtedly equivalent to a disaster. When they left the Ning family, the master of the Ning family forbade them from taking any attendants with them, so they had to do everything themselves, from setting up tents to cooking. Of course, they could choose not to eat, but just setting up tents was an extremely difficult task for them. Qing Xian wasn't very good at setting up tents either, but he was willing to be thick-skinned and ask without shame. As for the elders who claimed to be of noble status, they couldn't lower their noble heads, including the second elder, so they could only stare at each other. They didn't really mind that they didn't have a tent, because they thought that they could just sleep in the wilderness for a night. It was easy to muddle through the night, and they could continue on the road the next day. Unfortunately, things were not as simple as they thought. On the first night of their journey, Leng Ruoxue and the others returned to their own tents after dinner. Ning Bo, who was feeling uneasy, wanted to keep watch but was rejected by Leng Ruoxue. In Leng Ruoxue's words, there were so many elders here, and all of them were stronger than him. There was no place for him to put his skills to good use, so he just had to rest well. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, even if Ning Bo sympathized with the elders, he could only go to sleep obediently. After all, the young lady was the most important. He didn't dare to disobey the young miss orders. The next morning, when Leng Ruoxue and the others walked out of the tent, they realized that the elders who had been camping in the wild had many red and swollen bumps on their faces from mosquito bites. After feeling their gazes, the elders all turned their backs to them as if they had discussed it beforehand. Seeing this, Qing Xian laughed out loud without holding back. Ha ha ha. The elders did a lot of good things yesterday, right? The mosquitoes here will be very grateful to you. Qing Xian laughed madly, tears flowing from his eyes. Although Grape and the others were embarrassed to laugh like Qing Xian, they could not help but lower their heads and laugh. What's so funny? The second elder was a little annoyed. He didn't expect the mosquitoes in the wilderness to be so powerful. His face was red and swollen, and he couldn't help but feel the itch. However, What bothered him more was that he had embarrassed himself in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. There's nothing to laugh about. Let's continue our journey after we finish our breakfast. Leng Ruoxue said while holding back her laughter. These elders were too prideful. If they were willing to ask, they wouldn't have suffered so much yesterday. However, if they didn't ask, she wouldn't have taken the initiative to tell them. After all, she wasn't that kind. The elders had no objections to Leng Ruoxue's words. They wanted to travel faster so that they could reach their destination earlier. Thanks, they continued on their way. They flew during the day and slept in the wild at night. Those stubborn and prideful elders were still unwilling to ask shamelessly. They would rather be bitten by mosquitoes. However, after the experience of the first day, they also had some experience. When they slept at night, they thought of using divine power to condense a small protective shield to protect themselves. However, in this way, they would have to consume divine power. After Leng Ruoxue saw through their thoughts, she only smiled and did not say anything. As for Ning Shan, who had been watching coldly from the side, he shook his head helplessly and sighed. However, the family head had said that he only needed to be a bystander. Hence, even though he felt that the elders' thoughts were somewhat inappropriate, he would not say much. Furthermore, he was very clear that even if he said it, these elders would not be grateful to him, so why did he need to do something unnecessary? The elders' method had indeed isolated them from the mosquito bites. However, after a night, they had used up a lot of their divine power. Hence, when Leng Ruoxue and the rest saw the elders the next day, they were all pale and haggard. However, those elders who cared about their reputation still forced themselves to be alert in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. When Leng Ruoxue saw this, she was even more disinclined to bother with them. Furthermore, once they got on the flying beast, they all fell asleep. Just like that, 5 days passed by. The elders, who had exhausted a lot of their divine power and physical strength, had used all their time during the day and night to rest. Even so, their spirits were still somewhat low. However, at the same time, they had also become much quieter. This was a good thing for Leng Ruoxue. Another night passed. Finally, one of the elders could not hold on any longer and fainted from exhaustion. When Leng Ruoxue saw this, other than being speechless, she did not have any other thoughts. One had to know that these elders were all divine emperors. To be able to make a deity emperor faint from exhaustion, it was clear how much divine power and physical strength they had expended over the past few days. Furthermore, Leng Ruoxue noticed that these elders had signs of being poisoned. After all, the mosquitoes in the divinity were poisonous. Even if they had consumed an antidote pill, it would not be able to completely cure the mosquito's poison. On the morning of the 7th day before departure, Leng Ruoxue gathered all the elders together. Looking at the listless group of elders, she sighed softly and said slowly, "Fellow elders, how have you been resting these past few nights? Didn't you say that you're a consultant?" An elder yawned and said in an unpleasant tone, "Do you want to continue like this? I know you guys are very dissatisfied with me, and I feel the same way about you guys. Moreover, I can tell you clearly that if it wasn't for my godfather's face, I wouldn't have brought you guys along. To me, you're just a bunch of burdens." Leng Ruoxue said without giving him any face. "What did you just say? You actually called us burdens? Are you a burden?" Another elder said angrily. He stood up while trembling and glared at Leng Ruoxue. "You are. Look at you now. Can you still walk?" Leng Ruoxue scoffed. "Who said we can't move? I'll show you right now." The elder was unconvinced. After he finished speaking, he started to walk in front of Leng Ruoxue. However, he had only taken 2 steps when a loud plop was heard. He fell to the ground.